has been criticised at various stages, but what he does do is he gives them a big body and a big physical presence down there. But they're going to have to beat their very best Carlton, and perhaps Adelaide a little bit off their best if they're to win.
Well, a spot in the top 4 is all important, as we know. The final situation this year. A lot of interstate sides inside that top 8. So when you have a look at this AFL ladder, Adelaide down there in 7th position, up against the Carlton Blues in 14th. This is a game that they can ill afford to lose.
Well, when it's so congested, the spots in the 8 can change on a weekly basis, obviously. And Adelaide could go from almost being out of the 8 within 2 weeks being right up there in the top 4. At the other end of the table, Carlton, well, they're just looking to consolidate, just to get a little bit more positiveness around the club, and victories are the only way through that.
Rain starting to fall here at the Optus Oval would give the Blues a better chance, you would imagine, so something that the coach, the Adelaide coach, Gary Ayres, will have to take into consideration. He's with Michael Robertson on the boundary.
Well, Gary, you come here with high confidence because the boys have done pretty well here at Optus Oval.
Yeah, they have, Nick, and obviously the conditions are going to have a fair say in the game, so just about playing basic football today, I think.
Mark Prosciutto always plays well here. He enjoys it too, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does, and it'd be great to get another performance like what he's done in the past.
Now, Carey, Burns and Clark are all back, and also McLeod, Andrew McLeod, remarkable comeback from his knee.
Yeah, it has been, and obviously the 3 that you mentioned, it's going to be important for them to get to the tempo early and obviously contribute, because that's all you can ask when they've been out for a few weeks.
And one last one, if the cards fall right, you could end up 4th, so it's important for you.
Oh, well, it is, and that's our aim at the end of the year, hopefully to finish in the top 4 spot.
Good luck.
Thanks, Mick.
Thanks, Gary.
Gary Ayres with Michael Robertson, the boundary. Wayne Carey played 6 out of the 12 games so far. Jared hasn't played since round 7. He is the 2nd leading goal kicker on this Adelaide Crows lineup still, so he has had an influence.
He's kicked 4 goals on 3 separate occasions, Gary, and he's been at times criticised for his performance, but when he's been right, he's been really important, and the next 10 weeks could see him take Adelaide from an outside chance for the flag to one of the hot favourites. Significant ins already mentioned by Gary Ayres. Carey, of course, Clark, who's a dominant tap ruckman in the competition, and Ronnie Burns, who after a slow start in Adelaide started to have a real impact on this side, and just the crumbing forward that tops them off nicely. And I think also Burton coming back into some good form on the wing. They've really got some talented players, and no more talented than Andrew McLeod. He is a match winner, one of the great match winners we've seen in modern and recent history, probably the same word, Gary, but just he does the unbelievable at the times when you absolutely require it. He's a big game player, we know that. He's had a pretty good year, probably not his best year, but a solid year, and he's no doubt been carrying a bit of an injury. Averaging 26 touches per game, inside 50 on 5 occasions. He's one of those players I think gets marked very harshly because of how good he is, how easy he makes the game look at times, but certainly looking forward to seeing him in action this afternoon in one of the matchups that would have given the Carlton match committee some restless nights, I would have thought. There's Anthony Koutafidis, who will play a huge role in this Carlton lineup, which also welcome back one of their important players. Adrian Hickmott comes back after an adductor strain, and as we mentioned, Eccles comes into the side, Barnaby French out, and with rain starting to fall, that's a pretty good move. Hickmott is a big inclusion. He's just one of the linchpins for their forward line, and they've missed him. But the most important inclusion in recent times has been Matthew Allen. He was just wilting away in the VFL side. They brought him back up against the Tigers, and he jumped straight back up into outstanding form. And against the Crows, who've got a good ruck division themselves, they're going to need him to add plenty of run and plenty of firepower. And when you combine Allen with Koutafidis, you've got a pretty good midfield. You have indeed. He's been getting back to his very best in recent times, Anthony Koutafidis. We're not sure whether he'll ever get back to that imposing form of 1999, but he's averaging 21 touches per game, 5 clearances. Will take a bit of the ruck work, you would imagine, at some stage, and just a pleasure to be out here and watch him regain some of that form. He's the only Carlton player that handballs more than he kicks. I know Dennis Pagan wants him to kick a little bit more, but he is winning the footy and winning it inside. We'll take a break. After the break, Eddie Maguire and Brian Taylor to join us at the Optus Oval. It's Carey versus Martin, Adelaide versus Carlton. This is Sunday football.
AFL Premiership 2003, proudly brought to you by Carlton, brewed since 1864, and our telecast sponsors, the new Holden Caprice, Chartered Accountants, CA Employ Our Thinking, Primus Telecom, delivering the real value of communication, Sky City Adelaide, the place to see footy on the big screen, Crazy Johns for the best deals in mobile phones, Radio Rebel, South Australia's biggest electrical retailer, and Amy, lucky you're with Amy.
All I own are the clothes I stand up in. And some sexy aftershave. But I rent all this. Renting makes sense.
Jarvis Toyota goes one better at the huge Jarvis Toyota sale. Buy a brand new Toyota at next to cost or choose from over 300 used cars. All makes and models priced to clear. And remember, every Jarvis used car comes with a 3-year warranty, 3-year roadside assistance and even a money-back guarantee. Sign up, drive away with no deposit and no repayments for 9 months. Why pay more elsewhere when Jarvis Toyota goes one better? Jarvis Toyota, South Road, Tonsley.
At Italian Trends, we received an extra container of imported leather shoes. Save up to 70% off normal prices. Clio, Amy, Omina, hurry, stocks are limited. Italian Trends, we may import the shoes, but we won't import the price. Adelaide, Norwood and Elizabeth.
The Swimming Pool and Spa Association Expo is on next weekend. If you're serious about a pool or spa, then you'd better get to Wayville. The Swimming Pool and Spa Association Expo will cover everything, including all the latest pool and spa equipment. Next weekend, Wayville Showgrounds, pensioners and kids free.
Before you buy spectacles from anyone, come into the Optical Superstore and check our prices. Our spectacle frame prices on our huge range are about half the price you'd expect to pay elsewhere. You're welcome to compare prices with the Optical Superstore. Also, in most cases, Medibank Private Extras members receive spectacles with no out-of-pocket expenses. Come in and compare prices at the Optical Superstore. Located in Westfield Tea Tree Plaza, Maya Marion, Maya Centre City, and now at Jetty Road, Glenelg.
Ray's Outdoors. Come see what we've got. From tents to clothes and boots, we've got the lot. The lot right now. Ray's Outdoors have arrived in Adelaide with a huge warehouse sale at 52 Light Square. Massive savings on tents, outdoor clothing, footwear and camping gear. You'll save heaps with Ray's Outdoors. Anything for outdoors, fashion or pleasure, it's a one-stop shop with gear for your leisure. Tents, clothes, barbecues, we've got the lot. Ray's Outdoors. Come see what we've got.
I rent because there's no deposit, no application fee, they fix any problems. And you can upgrade to the latest and greatest, so you're never stuck with yesterday's gear. Renting makes sense.
What would you do for 50 grand? 7:30 Tuesday, the hit American series that puts relationships to the ultimate test.
Are you disappointed in your man? Yes.
4 couples, 1 challenge. Trusting your partner with your life. The most elaborate setups and daring stunts.
You look very nervous.
Only the toughest couple will survive. All new Fear Factor premieres 7:30 Tuesday on 9.
Toss of the coin here, Optus Oval, Andrew Mackay and Mark Rasciuto. Cloudy day here, light rain falling moments ago. Would expect some this afternoon. And it is Mark Rasciuto who's won the toss and will kick the left of screen as I welcome for the first time this afternoon Brian Taylor. I'm not sure whether Eddie Maguire's been in the news or not, but Brian's been running around getting him coffee, cleaning his shoes. I'm not sure what he's been up to. Welcome, boys.
That is just not true, Gary, and I am looking forward today passing the faithfuls. We do see Mick Martin, but he's...
Yeah, watch a replay. Mick Martin went straight up to Carey. Look at that. They're at each other. They're in each other's face. Well, they're cracking gags with each other anyway. Brian, away you go.
But they're not actually playing on each other, so we'll keep an eye on that as the day progresses. Mickey Martin, in fact, has got Perry down there in the square as Carey is playing a roll up the ground.
Brett Thornton is the player who has gone to Wayne Carey.
Ball in the middle, Fletcher. Out, no clearance then until the Beaumont kick went forward. Lappin in space, has spent a bit of time in defence. The handball on, could be a good start for the Blues. They've got 3 running it down. Beaumont tests his soccer skills when probably a block and a shepherd would have helped him pick it up. It's going to free kick.
Was it back?
Classic Pagan's panic, Jared, to start that game.
Yes, it was into space and all the Blues ran onto it. And just another free kick paid close to goal, which has been a rare sight so far this season. But since the break, it's been a regular. And there you see, pretty dumb move there from Nigel Smart, barrelling Scott Camberelli.
Probably had to go for it, though, with 3 bearing down on the ball. Camberelli to register the first score of the game at the Heatley stand-in. And he has nailed it. Carlton off to a good start.
Well, it's a great start, and Dennis Pagan would be well pleased with that. He set this forward line up with no players inside 50 at the opening bounce, so all important. Lapham was the first player to get onto the footy, able to run onto it. Houlihan was able to get a small boot to it, and then Beaumont would have liked that opportunity again, but gets a free kick to Camporelli. So it is a great start. And the matchups are interesting. I'm not sure whether too many would have picked Mickey Martin not to be on Wayne Carey at this stage.
So Smart was dumb, resulting in a goal to Carlton in the centre bounce.
Very good, Ed.
Prosciutto goes out wide. Tawney couldn't hold the mark. Here's Lance Whitnell, flicks it forward. Bickley gets in the way as always. Head over the ball, body over the top. That's good, tough football. And we'll have a bounce between centre wing and half-forward flank for the Blues.
Well, in effect, it was Gary Ayres that decided this matchup because Mick Martin will pick up whoever is at full forward. At the moment, Wayne Carey is out at centre half-forward. And Matthew Allen, Brian Taylor, is sitting right beside Wayne Carey as well.
Tudor does the ruck work and grabs the ball himself. Pumps it inside 50. Beaumont being held. No, says the umpire on this occasion. Bassett's there. Pavola comes in. Beaumont on his left foot. Swings around. Woot looking to find somebody. Now he does. Camporelli again. From the same spot, will kick his second in 2 minutes. What a start for the Blues.
Oh, absolutely sensational, and the use of the footy inside was smart. They know that there's space in this forward line, and twice now, Scott Camporelli, who reads the play so very well, it's one thing to have space, it's another thing to time your run getting into that space, and he gets there at the right time.
Camporelli, 2 goals to the Robert Heatley stand end. The Carlton social club love it. So too does the goal umpire. And off the ground comes Prosciutto injured.
Well, this news couldn't get any better for...
With rear DVD screens, V8 power, and Holden's finest engineering. Caprice. Holden Caprice.
Mark Prosciutto getting some attention from the doctors there, a cut on the eye. And Carlton, the perfect start, 2 straight goals, while the focus of attention is the Adelaide forward line. Carlton have just gone on with it, kicking goals. Out of the middle again. Camporelli, the #1 long kicker in the game to date. High ball for Bowler closing. Almost marked off hands. Good aggressive approach by the Carlton forwards. And let's go down to Michael Roberts.
Thanks, boys. It's not a cut, actually, BT. It's actually a poke in the eye. They've got the eye drops out now, having really difficult to see out of the left eye, so Prosciutto in a bad way.
Oh, you just got the
accidental one.
Yep. The ball up 40 metres out or 35 metres out from the Carlton goal. Dr. Michael Roberts with the report there. Off the hands of the pack. Waite tried to squeeze it away. Picked up by Edwards. At full back, he brings it out to the outer side to what was the John Elliott stand, now known as the Heroes. Carlton player and Houlihan thumped into the hoardings, as you could hear. In the meantime, it's the Adelaide Crows through Bassett, who picks the ball up on pretty much centre wing. Releases Carey for his first touch. What do the crowd say to him? Plenty, as he handballs on to McGregor. McGregor can go long. No, he decides to hit his teammate on the chest in Perry. Good lead, and Perry lines up for goal. You get a bird's eye view from the Channel 9 cameras here. Right on 50. It'll be a good kick from here. Brian, what do you have to do at this end to the legend stand end of the Carlton football ground?
Well, I don't think there's a lot of wind here, Ed, so it's what your natural kick is. If it's a right to left kick, then you've just got to hang it out at the right goalpost.
Drizzling rain at the moment, so he needs to hit it square. He does, but he won't get the distance or the accuracy. Up they fly off, hand through for a rush behind. First of the game for the Crows. It's the Blues by 13 points.
Darren Hume got the job running with Andrew McLeod, so big task for him. And Tawney on Murphy. Murphy, of course, been amongst the goals, got 5 in their win against Richmond. So Jason Tawney's had a good year, been set for that job.
So Camporelli, as I mentioned before, you can see the rain falling on your monitor there. Will kick the ball back and play. The #1 in long kicks in the AFL competition. Hume, a valuable ground-level player, especially in these conditions. The kick forward, Massey, lap and work. Bit of work off the ball there as well. Fisher was involved in that. Linking play here, Shirley, McLeod. Smooth, calm, poised. Bickley through the middle. Here they go. The big fella, Biglands, kicks a long ball forward. It was indeed Jared Healy. John Cock marks.
Well, that was a brilliant piece of play from Biglands, because the goal square was empty and a lot of players would have just long bombed and hoped to get the roll and maybe get a score for themselves. But John Cock, who started on Andrew McKay, just used the space behind him, and that was just a fantastic kick.
6 goals, 6 for the year for Graham Johncock. As he lines up, lightish rain falling here at Optus Oval. He's got about 25 metres the journey, and there's a good look at it. And no trouble at all with the still dry ball. Adelaide, their first goal.
If you think this has a big sale, have a look at Radio Rental's biggest ever stock take sale. Over $5 million worth of quality electricals must be cleared, including a huge range of sharp TVs and never-to-be-repeated deals. Cash rent or interest-free, it's your choice at Radio Rentals. And with selected TVs, you'll get a bonus gift voucher worth up to $1,000. Radio Rentals must clear over $5 million worth of quality electricals at our biggest ever stock take sale. Now that's big!
The Blues by 5 points. We've been going 7.25 minutes in this opening term. Light rain falling here at Optus Oval. Blues now through Waite. Found a bit of space, but the kick was smothered eventually. Whitnell going hard for the ball there for the Carlton side. Good play by McGregor. Pushing the back nose as the umpire. Camperelli again just squeezes the kick out. Here's Big Lance with an open goal to kick the third, but he sprayed it. It's a shocker. Lance needed to do better on that occasion.
Got their setup really open and getting some opportunities in the forward line, though, Brian. They're setting everybody up on the half-forward line of bounces.
There's plenty of space as they go forward, isn't it? And that's all you can ask as a midfielder delivering the ball. And it looks very competitive, that Carlton forward line at the moment. Can they maintain it? Can they trap it in like this with the zone? Camperelli slipping over as he went for the low ball to Favolis. Not the day to be doing that. But Hume was very good. Again, the setup was perfect, but the skills let them down.
Yeah, that was a goal just gone begging with a poor kick.
Hume unable to just get it out in front of his teammate there, Fisher. And now look at the Crows go. McLeod has it on centre wing, taps it to the ground once, decides to kick it long into the forward 50. Out comes Welsh. There's a good mark overhead. On this occasion, a good spoil came in from Norman. Ball goes to ground. Carey, look at that, just crashed through three of them, then flicked it over the top. Opened up Laddams, the kick will be closed. Mickey, get there quickly. No, he can't. The bounce beat Mick. And a beautiful goal set up by Wayne Carey. Laddams kicked it.
That's the beauty of that man on our screen, Wayne Carey. He might not end up with 18 possessions, he might not kick 4 goals, but he just makes things happen by his mere presence. He draws players to him. They all want to try and knock his block off. And it just frees up his teammates. So he is well worth the effort they went to get him over to Adelaide. He's going to have a say in this side come finals time.
Well, Adelaide have kicked the last 2 goals. And you get the feeling that they're just adapting, Gerard, to the wet weather conditions a little quicker. As out of the centre, they go again. Burton, Johncock, drops at Port, McKay is there. Burton's got it all to do. Johncock in amongst it as well. McKay tries to corral him to the boundary line. The whole high ball, contested situation, Houlihan. Allen didn't handle it well.
Got to be a through kick.
I reckon when you start the day with relatively dry conditions, it's the first to adapt.
No, you're right, Brian. And I think also the Crows were a little bit flummoxed by the Carlton setup up forward early in the piece. The other thing that's standing out is that Wayne Carey has returned after his operation looking very free running.
So does this bloke, McLeod, dancing on the boundary line. Does it beautifully, then sets it up to the goal scorer. Up they fly. Off hands, Houlihan, get rid of it. He's kicked it into the back of his teammate, and he could be punished here as Welsh. Has a left foot shot for the goal. Once again, Carey's in the mix here. Couldn't quite pick it up. Carey does, and kicks the goal. 3 in the trot for the Crows.
Fantastic. We're rolling now. Sophie, I've got the winner of the competition. There's his number. Oh, he's cute. Oh, it's engaged.
Don't miss important calls when you're on the internet. Be online and use your phone at the same time. For frustration-free internet, join iPrimus Broadband.
Adelaide by a goal in a pretty interesting start to the game where Carlton dominated the first couple of minutes. It's been all Adelaide since. Tawney out wide. What an acquisition he has been for Adelaide. Favola arriving first. Good work. Ground level, difficult conditions. Camperelli's been in amongst it. 2 goals already for him. Burton, couple of possessions, banging this one forward without much direction. Thornton there. Jared wanted the free kick. Nothing offering. Bickley into space. Now Welsh needs to trap it. And Bigland's running in support, but lots of Carlton numbers around the ball. Franchina to Murphy.
Now the Blues again. Camporelli with his 7th possession, including 2 goals in this opening term of only going 11 and a half minutes. Gets it forward. Lance grabs the player without the ball, and the Crows will take the free kick. It will be Shirley. Shirley has it, and the Carlton fans say you can't be serious. Hart. Fans are flying high, nodding in agreement. Others saying, what is he talking about?
Well, Tyson Edwards is now on Scott Camporelli, and he's really got to tighten up on him.
Ordinary kick from Hart, and Big Allen takes the mark at half-back flank. First touch coming up. The man affectionately known as the Agate of Carlton. Off the hands from Lance. Shirley again was pretty good. He got it out to Hart on that occasion. Camporelli goes to ground. Tried to feed the handball out. Over the top of it was Fletcher. Spills out the back. Keane did very well. Comes down now to Houlihan. Long kick. They've got those options here. Oh, bad bounce. He was stiff there, Murphy. And luckily for the Adelaide Crows, Burton was able to take it away.
Yeah, going to try and run away with it. As surprisingly, Camporelli comes off the ground. We'll get Michael Roberts onto that because it couldn't possibly be through form. He's dominated in the possession count. He's the leading possession getter on the ground. As Kurtafiti's chase wields nothing.
And McCormick comes on.
So, interesting move there. Camporelli off. It's either direction by phone, and that's what it is. It's not an injury.
And it wouldn't be criticism, I wouldn't think as well. It'll be just instruction.
Yep, Dennis Pagan, very, very brave. Yeah, why wouldn't they, Jared, send the runner out in that situation?
Well, maybe it's a message pretty complicated that
personal.
He doesn't think would get transferred well enough through the run. I mean, they haven't lost anything. They've lost 20 seconds with this guy off the ground.
And there's Robbo, ready pouncing, ready to pounce with the news.
I don't want to get the hair wet, Robbo.
Yep. So boundary throw in half forward.
6-point lead. Just because he smothered one kick of your son's, Gary, I think you can let it go.
Indeed. McLeod, the running machine. McCormick's coming off. Perry. Hard Mickey Martin with his first touch of the game. It was the mum that was so used of. McLeod. The run received, out wide Burton, slippery ball, and getting slipperier by the moment. Carey led his man to the ball, Thornton. Couldn't pick it up on the half volley. Stendline surely will be penalised for a brutal on Kurtafiti.
That is a good decision, and that is very close to being a reportable incident, in my view. They won't report him, obviously, because it'll be a bump. But when he's got his head over the ball, the head has got to be sacrosanct. You can't put him at risk.
They're only about this very point,
That is ridiculous.
That didn't go near the head, Jared.
Oh, cut it.
He'll end up in a wheelchair, and that's not being over-dramatic. Someone will, unless that stuff is legislated.
Side bump. Got him on the side.
Yeah, side of the head.
Front of the head. He's now going, looks like it could be a blood rule, but he's been given the okay to stay on. Tudor.
Luckily didn't hit him in the head.
Oh, yes.
Well, he collected that as part of the body as well.
Kuda,
you can't
up on his feet.
Can't be particular about the areas, Ed, when you're dealing with the whole body.
Yep. It is, it's a hard one.
You've got to be joking, Brian.
Ball over the line and out of bounds. Gary should have tackled is what you're saying there.
Well, you've either got to lay over him and take his jumper, or if you can come from the side, legitimately give him a bump. You can't be particular. They've only got one head, Brian, one melon.
You're allowed to go to the footy. Kuda didn't have it in his hands.
You're allowed to take the man out within 5 metres.
Yep, but if we continue to allow the head to be attacked...
Let's just play within the rules as they are at the moment, Jared, not worry about what they may be. The kick forward, McKay, the punch away, Martin's in there. Play on calls the umpire as Norman got a partial kick out. Franchina desperate, Camporelli there. Advantage paid, I'm not sure there was much in it. But it's play on, kick to Murphy, Tawney's there. Contest in the air, intelligent play, Lappin. Now he's got space, he needs a clean pickup, didn't get it. Allowed the tackler to close. Lappin has been fruitful up forward already, but we'll have a ball up this time.
Soccer skills would have come in there a little bit handier for Lappin there, just needed to play it forward with the boot.
Just on a positive, Ed, that was once again almost another goal. The way they're keeping all the players up, playing the proverbial pagan paddock, it's really worrying the Crows' defence.
Kurtafiti's a high up and under, good luck. Up they go for it. Lance did almost everything possible to take that. Couldn't quite grab it. It spills out the back to Houlihan. He's clever. Not on that occasion, though. And should have done better with that. That's what Houlihan's there for, to kick those types of goals.
There's Lance Whitnell's marking attempt. And just the slippery ball might have done him on that occasion.
Tawney receives the kick in. Gee, he was slow getting boot the ball there. Luckily brushed off the Favola tackle, which slid over the top, and Burton, who's been operating pretty well on that side of the ground.
Gentlemen, would long sleeve jumpers help you in that situation? Drizzly old day to day?
Yeah, possibly. Very much a individual preference.
What about gloves on a wet day?
Never wore them, Ed, so I couldn't help you.
McGregor marks in front of the diving Houlihan. Hart, a loose man set up here, but now Carlton do well to just make sure he kicks over the mark. The umpire called play on, said he ran off the mark.
Well, that's got to be holding the ball.
And he's got that much courage when he's got 30-odd thousand Carlton supporters screaming at him.
Well, that gentleman there was bewildered, and so are we.
Well, if he calls play on, it's got to be a free kick.
Absolutely.
Yeah, is he played on? Yeah, gone. And has he got rid of the ball?
But he called on play on before.
And that'll be 50, throwing the ball at Whitnall. The umpire there is wrong, and he must feel embarrassed as he runs hard back to his mark. Just inside 50, probably within range, I'd say, for Lance Whitnall here now. And that was pure frustration.
That was 50 metres. Yeah. I'll go home.
It's the shortest 50 in the history of the world.
Right. And that proves the point, doesn't it? The Favola coughs up the easiest.
Coming back.
Gee, this is very confusing at the moment.
The umpire that was directly in front of the Carlton Social Club has overruled the other guy in the middle of the ground, and he's played the free kick.
Michael Roberts, we're confused. Can you add anything to it?
I can, and the other thing too is Massey and Lappin. Lappin just gave him a nice little gangster slap. It was beautiful, right in front of us.
But did he call play on too early?
He did right in front of us, and he did lose the pot, the umpire there, and the umpire, as you saw, the players were absolutely confused.
I think Adelaide's involved too, Mick. Favola, his 100th career goal coming up here, if he was successful. 52 metres out, a little bit of drizzly rain, ball just getting a little slippery and heavy, but he's got it bending the right way. It's bending back, it's a goal!
Catch all the footy action on the big screen at Sky City Adelaide.
Well, maybe we need to get to a situation where we only have 25-metre penalties for yelling at the umpire. Well, we don't give them too many more interpretations.
Don't overload them, Edward.
As White from Kudafides inside 50, the Blues are on a roll here at the top. Lappin's there. Can he pick it up this time? Yes, he can. Can he stay in his... Oh, no! That's holding the ball. What boots has he got on? If he's got Molders on, he should be shot. Point.
It's a hard regime. If it gets older 10 or 9, you make a mistake, you get shot.
Well, let's have a look at this. And
well, he can't pick it up.
He didn't really slip. He just lost his feet. He ended up slipping at the end, but he was well on the way to being down then.
Once again, though, it was another opportunity at goal set up by this open forward line that they're applying at the centre bounces. It's really got the Adelaide defence worried.
Well, it's a lively game. Plenty of highlights, lowlights if you want as well. But it's all happening here at Optus. Murphy, half a throw. We'll have a ball up. 2-point lead to the Blues.
With the wet conditions, Jared, in this situation with the players up outside 50, is it right? The Adelaide Crows should just slip a bloke off the wing, drop him into the hole, let him play 30 metres out from goal, particularly at centre bounces.
Gary Ayres likes the one-on-one, but sometimes you've got to be a little bit flexible. That's what I'd be doing.
Look at the Hickmont desperation. Started the day on the bench. He's come on a little while ago and already trying to set the seam out there and the way you should attack the ball if you're a Carlton player.
The ball is slow to get up here.
Adelaide should have a loose player anyhow because Matthew Allen is just loose across that half-back line, and maybe Rhett Biglands does the same job.
Kudafides doing the ruck work again. Whitnall comes in with Biglands. Kudafides then does the roving. Fletcher knocks it out wide to Beaumont on the left boot, but no chance there. Over the line, out of bounds, throw in. So the Blues by 2 points with just under 6.5 minutes left in this opening term. It's been a good one here. Rain falling right throughout this quarter. It's slippery conditions. Going to be a tough old slog this afternoon. They'll earn the 4 points here at Optus Oval. Biglands gets the tap. Hume underneath it. Good play by Kudafides with the smother. Good play by Favola, wanted the ball most. Edwards feeds it out. Kick by McGregor up the line. John Cocker's there. McCabe covers him. We'll have another throw in.
Fred Burton is a player, Jared, you highlighted pre-game, who is very important in this Adelaide side. He's come back, essentially been playing on a wing, which is a great spot. He's got pace, he's got endurance. We know he can take a mark, and he's racking up the possessions early in this game.
Rain getting heavier by the moment. Whitnell, Biglands, McGregor, the third man in the contest. Burton, the soccer attempt was successful in gaining 30 metres. Hume,
that's deliberate.
No intention to do anything else other than to get it to the line. And good decision by the umpire there. Not even an argument from Hume.
This is where Matthew Allen that's just popped himself in a hole. Becomes a pretty imposing figure down there.
Pretty tall forward line too, Adelaide. I wonder whether they might adjust that as the day goes on.
You've got to try and get it to Rhett Biglands to make Matthew Allen accountable.
John Cock in the Biglands direction. Whitnell got back in support in the defensive half of the ground while he's playing forward. Welsh is in there. Camporelli.
It's a very good point, Jared, but it's more than just Rhett Biglands who has to play a role in that. It is the rest of his teammates, perhaps in the middle of the ground, vacating the area as the rain continues to fall, and then he becomes an easier target to get to.
Allen flicks it out. Eventually it comes from Stingline. Now the Crows have got a chance through McGregor. Lapham takes the mark. Off one step, Lapham kicks and opens up play. Waite decides to take his chances and gets caught and is gone.
That's a brilliant tackle by Perry. Waite's a speedster and Perry dragged him down.
Beautiful tackle by Perry. Little kick forward. Out comes Welsh. Good lead, good kick. Welsh takes it on his chest.
Great tackle, as you called. Just that's the things that coaches love to see their forwards doing.
And if you can get the grip on a wet day, they do go to ground easier, don't they?
They do.
These little fellas are going to be important. It's going to be difficult for the taller marking forwards to take overhead marks, so the smaller ground level players bursting out on leads, taking chest marks are going to be perhaps the only marks they take inside 50.
And this is Chris Laddams lining up for his second goal and to put the Crows back in front.
And the reason there was space was exactly what you alluded to. Rhett Biglands pushed down. Allen had no choice but to go and pick him up. A little hole opened up for Chris Laddams to lead into. As there's a change being made as well. Clark comes on for his first run, so double team at Matthew Allen.
Laddams has kicked 28 career goals. As I said, one earlier today, a beautiful snap. This is a set shot from 45 metres out. Not much of an angle. Left foot kick is on its way. And he's pushed it across the face of goals, through for a behind.
Good start to the game. Terrific contest. And I reckon it's close on the scoreboard now. I suspect that's how it's going to be for most of the day, given the conditions.
All right, well, we've got just under 4 minutes remaining in the game in this first quarter. And Camporelli to kick the ball back into play. Allen went over before he had an attempt. There's no doubt about the PA system here at Optus. It works well, and it's very loud. Boundary throw in, forward half of the ground for the Adelaide Crows. Matthew Allen returned just a couple of weeks ago. And Clark to do battle in the ruck. Look at them queuing up in front to win the ground level ball. Burton caught with it. No decision, umpire happy to let play proceed as Murphy just got a beautiful talk forward, gained a lot of ground. It's a foot race here. It is hit by Smart. It is almost a goal. Smart ran down the spiral, just had a lot in the air, and then it had a bit more once it hit the deck.
Great kick, the torpedo.
Jeff Berring almost lost that title for the longest ever goal.
The kick there from the cemetery.
Whether Lance Whitlaw is the player that you want running into the paddock, though, to be honest.
Oh, it was almost didn't need him in the end. Smart now brings the ball out to the Heroes stand in or side. Hickmott, that's in the back, surely. It was a couple of weeks ago. Picked up by McGregor. Carey.
He's definitely looking better. He's moving really well across the ground.
And moving into the right positions, as you'd expect. Carey comes in, gets his kick away. It's a beautiful kick too. Opens it right up for his teammate there in Massey, former Carlton player.
Little room there now, bit of space. He's going to get that quick.
So Massey from the true centre-half forward position kicks it to full forward. Martin versus Perry. McKay was there as well. It comes to ground. Allen will have to do the roving. He won't want to do that too often. Comes to John Cock, and there's a beautiful snap. John Cock kicks his second. That is a beautiful goal, and the Crows are back in front.
When did you last stop and think about your home insurance? Does yours compare with Amy? Amy offers new-for-old replacement on everyday items, regardless of age. And we reduce the cost of your contents insurance the more you secure your home. Amy even discounts premiums up to 10% when building and contents insurance is combined. You can expect more from Amy. Switch now.
Lucky you're with Amy.
Adelaide hit the front. Have a look at this. Graham Johncock, mid-air when he got boot the ball to kick his second goal. Quite free into the conditions. Johncock 4 disposals and 2 goals. Out of the middle, Koutafidis to half forward. Whitnell. McGregor got a hand over the shoulder. Gerard, did he? Edwards. There he is. McGregor around the body. And out to this man again. Popped that one up, though.
It's a worry, that matchup, Brian. I know Andrew McKay got away with it there, but that was his first touch of the afternoon, and he's up against Graham Johncock, who should have marked that footy. It's just a bit of a worry, that one.
Jason Tawney, he was in a head-on collision there, and it was no free kick.
So Johncock 4 disposals, McKay just 1. The average is 16, Andrew McKay, and he is the best rebound 50 player in the competition. Leads that area. Murphy, 60 metres out, high ball. Anyone's. Favola in front. Pack forms. Lots of numbers for Adelaide. Laddams went without it. Beaumont. Clark tried to insert his authority on the game. Fletcher dragged off the kick. Grubbed it. The desperation was great by Shirley. Tawney. They were all coming at him there. Even the big fella Lance is having a real crack at ground level. Favola in his second attempt. Camporelli pinned. This will be a ball up now. Desperate play from both sides.
The day for the brave hearts, Brian. And by the end of today, you'll get a very good idea of who does go hard at the footy and who doesn't. And there's a couple. They've got a question mark over their melons at the moment.
Who are they, Gary?
Well, as the day wears on, Brian, you will name names.
You'll have to wait as Waite kicks for goal. Rush behind.
He wouldn't be one of them at the moment. Jared Waite, he certainly goes hard at it. Brian Houlihan is one that needs to lock onto the footy, stand his ground, wet conditions. It's not going to be the pretty outside stuff. It is the tough inside stuff that'll win you the game today.
Especially for the Blues. Only 17 uncontested possessions in this quarter to Adelaide's 43. So when the Crows get away, they really do. Waite drops the foot. And as a result, McLeod has it on half-back flank. Around the body he goes, up towards Carey. Wrestling there and does it too good for Thornton. Too good. Sensational.
Too good. And this kid's going to learn a lot playing in Carey today.
Smart runs down the ground, does it well. Smart on Franchino. That's a good matchup for the Crows. Runs around him, he'll have a shot for goal. Nigel Smart just didn't get the connection. Up toward Perry, they all fly. Front square, McKay fell over. Johncock was there. Massey off the ground. Almost a goal. Point. The slipping as you'd expect in the greasy conditions here at Optus Oval.
So under a minute to go in the quarter and a 4-point Adelaide lead. So they just need to protect the ball here. Carlton, they would know the time. The coach's box all have countdown clocks in it these days. And the message would have got out by now that there's not long to go in the quarter. So protect the scoreboard. Wide, Allen, Stenglein, Bickley, Burton without it. Bickley says, well, I'll give you another chance. He'll kick around the corner, barely the distance. The umpire paid it, though. Edwards wasn't so sure he was off. Because he didn't reckon it had gone the journey. And we probably agree. Edwards from a long way out. Need a mark here. Time ticking away, as you can see. Ground level, Hume. Head over it. Welsh needs to be good. Found Carey. The king on the left. Brilliant smother. Thornton could have given the handball wide to Hart. Decide to go alone. Now Smarts under attack. Good composure here by the Blues. Eventually, after coughing it up. And there is the quarter-time siren. You can see how slippery the conditions really are here at Optus Oval in the first quarter. Camporelli got the Blues off to a blistering start with the first 2 goals. And then Adelaide went on to kick 4 of the next 5 goals. Johncock got 2. Wayne Carey was very good in the first quarter of football as well. Carlton 3-5-23. Trail Adelaide 4-3-27.
Tackling the road toll, highway speed limits to be scaled back. Australia denied automatic qualification for soccer's World Cup, and Mark Philippoussis sets up a showdown with Andre Agassi.
The famous Fletcher Jones quality sale is now on. A sale full of quality and very low prices, with big savings on menswear, from warm casuals to pure wool suits, and women's wear discounts on a wide selection of our latest shirts, pants and jackets. Fletcher Jones quality sale, now on.
It's stock take time. Prices are slashed. Grab a bargain at Truscott's. Panasonic 5 CD DVD changer, 200 off. Truscott Hi-Fi. Adelaide's lowest prices with up to 24 months interest-free terms.
You want it, you pull it. You name it. With over 3,000 cars, you'll find it, you pull it, and you pay less at Lonsdale and Elizabeth. You better believe it. You want a door? You pull it and pay $49.50. You want mags? You pull it and pay $27.50 each. You take your own tools, you pull it, you carry it out, you save. You beauty. You pull it self-serve auto. You'll find them 7 days at Meyer Road Lonsdale and Wammer Road Elizabeth. You pull it, you save, you betcha.
For retaining walls, garden edging or steps, Outback Sleepers will add that special character to your home. Concrete has never looked so good. Available in a range of textures and styles in distinctive hues and shades. Unlike timber sleepers, concrete never rots. No white hand problems. Outback Sleepers are a better alternative to block retaining walls and can be built as high as 3 metres. Add distinction to your home with Outback Sleepers. Phone 8387 9227 or visit our website for stockists. Before you buy spectacles from anyone, come into the Optical Superstore and check our prices. Our spectacle frame prices on our huge range are about half the price you'd expect to pay elsewhere. You're welcome to compare prices with the Optical Superstore. Also, in most cases, Medibank Private Extras members receive spectacles with no out-of-pocket expenses. Come in and compare prices at the Optical Superstore. Located in Westfield Tea Tree Plaza, Maya Marion, Maya Centre City, and now at Jetty Road Glenelg.
I think I know it all, and I watch the news, and then I see him write that, and I just go...
We're still recovering.
I need to rethink things.
It wouldn't hurt a Prime Minister or two to go and see it, and I think it reflected great. Good play. Concerns that are being held... Contemporary. In Australia and maybe elsewhere as well.
Cutting edge. Very timely.
Saying very important things about the 21st century, and there's not many brave writers out there that are actually doing that.
Falcon, Wheels Car of the Year. Can't get enough of this.
On a current affair, big names, big claims, Hollywood's hottest diets.
I don't want to be the one that loses the least.
Australian women take up the challenge.
60 kilos. Wow.
When Nissan presents a current affair with Ray Martin.
This AFL coverage proudly brought to you by Amy, Primus Telecom and Crazy Johns.
Well, it was billed as the Wayne versus Mick show, but that was about as close as they got. That was before the ball was bounced. It's a little smile, a bit of a giggle, and then they went to their respective opponents. Mickey Martin down to the goal square. Wayne Carey had Carlton as his opponent in that first quarter, and it was an entertaining first quarter indeed. Carlton 3-5-23 just trailed the Adelaide Crows 4 goals 3-27. Scott Camperella kicked the first 2 goals of the game. Brendan Favola got 1, and for the Crows, John Cox being dangerous with 2. Laddams and Perry 1 apiece. Rain still falling here, and Mickey Martin, just watch the Adelaide faithful give it to young Mick.
Oh, he's touched him. You can't do that.
No, he should not be doing that young fella down there. In fact, you want to pick your mark bet on that bloke. Mick might eat you. Well, he's going, but it was an entertaining first quarter, boys. Gary Ayres. The Pagans paddock was one area that did cause a few problems. Mark Rasciuto was the other problem. Came off the ground early in the piece with what we think was a poke in the eye, so hopefully he'll get back on.
And they did particularly well when you consider that Rasciuto was off. Wayne Carey looks pretty good. He's running well. I think he's lost his leap, and I just think, Gary, that perhaps they should either put him in the goal square and get everybody up the ground as we see him going head-to-head with Mickey, or keep him out of the packs and let him run onto them, because just watched him a fair bit they just jump all over him, and he's a dead player when that happens.
Yeah, well, we saw him take a terrific mark out here in front of us, just shoulder to shoulder with young Thornton, who is a good young player. But if he's doing that close to the goal, then maybe he could then kick a goal. But that is all to be decided as we go down to Michael Roberts, who's got Carlton assistant coach Barry Mitchell.
Thanks, Gary, and just a bit of an update on Mark Prosciutto first. Did get a poke in the eye. It's actually swelled up pretty fiercely, and a bit of a bonus to have Mark Prosciutto off the ground, Baz.
Well, I suppose it is, but it's nothing we can control. You know, if he comes back on, we'll have to cope with him then.
Dennis had a real spray at a few players not following instructions in that huddle.
Oh, we just made a couple of poor decisions, that was all. I suppose you can tend to do that in the conditions. Got to get some yardage with our kick and get the ball in quick.
Good luck with the second quarter.
Mitchell there, I think that's the message of the day. Have a look at this Carlton forward line set up now if we can. No one inside 50 at the moment. Let's get that ball in there quick. That's the Adelaide forward line.
Adelaide by 4 points as we start the second quarter. Prosciutto is back in the play, and there is his first possession. Carey, unable to mark. Over the top half, Prosciutto's there. Got a poke in the eye in the opening few moments of the game, and Hickmott not happy with him there.
At the other end of the ground, you've got Massey picking up Lapham, and I reckon that's a pretty dangerous matchup. You'd want your fastest player on Lapham, Gary, because as soon as the ball goes over their head, he'll run onto the goals.
Umpire's throwing the ball up now as Prosciutto head over it, went and got it. Tackled by a couple, unlucky not to get in the back in the end. Camporelli smart, keeps the feet. Whitnell went without it. Hickmott throwing the body in. Waite comes out with the ball, straightens it up. A kick in hope through the middle, but it found a target, and Beaumont's there, right in the middle.
And that was a nice little tap on from Tyson Edwards. It just means that they're going to get that ball back to Simon Beaumont. Had he been able to get up and kick it straight away, he had plenty of room, but they have just flooded back into this Carlton forward line now, Adelaide.
Suddenly there's only two players standing behind Beaumont as he takes the kick. Lance
Good
has the chance. Favola's been pinged for the Shepherd back.
Oh, gee, you're allowed to run.
You can get him behind it, can't you?
You're allowed to stay on line.
Well, Whitnell was never going to be contested in that situation. Let's have a good look here. Here's Favola. McGregor's the man who's infringed. Oh, jeez.
He might have just gone offline.
Yeah, still.
He's had a big game, Ken McGregor.
McGregor's been fantastic. The kick out to the wing position, it's going to be more like rugby from here on in as the pack forms and the tackle is applied. And Prosciutto gets up from the bottom of the pack to hand it back to the umpire.
9 possessions to McGregor, playing on Lance Whitnell.
The umpires today, Fussell-Head and Rouston.
Fussell-Head, is that one or two?
Mark Fussell, Matthew Head and Colin Rouston.
Shotgun Rouston. McLeod, soccer off the ground and follows up with another one. Gain 40, that's a good result for Adelaide in these conditions. And they'll have a ball in half forward for them at the Heatley stand end.
You're going to have to be careful of Lappin, the Crows, because at midfield bounces, he just pushes forward and takes the punt that they're going to win from the takeaway.
Ben Gline the job on Koutoufidis. You see them pushing off the ball there. The ball goes forward. Mick all over the top of his opponent. Welsh, Carey on the non-preferred side. The miss. Tough shot.
They've actually been moved up on the Brett Burton.
He's on the wing.
Matthew Lappin now, so that is one that the King wouldn't mind having again. Wayne Carey, he'd usually gobble those. 8 out of 10, I reckon. Mick Martin just placed beautifully there for Camporelli to play on, but he chooses to kick.
Oh, good play there by Burton. Laddams now. Lappin's in trouble as the turnover is complete now, and the mark has been taken by Shirley, who will line up from, well, inside 40 metres. Angle's pretty tight. Hasn't kicked a goal in his career. Robert Shirley. He's played 24 games. He's kicked 2 behinds.
Pretty tough spot to have one for your first as well. In front of the Carlton Social Club. Plenty of gratuitous advice coming over the fence, I reckon, G.
No doubt about that. But it's pretty important. It's just at a lull at the moment. If Adelaide can bang a couple on, then it would set them up.
Just to make it 11 points, Shirley's first goal in football will have to come later. In fact, it's his 3rd behind in football. The margin now is a goal. Adelaide lead Carlton, and we've been playing just under 4 minutes in this second term.
And just to reiterate the point, Mick Martin standing next to the man on the mark from there, and now he comes into play with the Shepherd.
Well, that's a Shepherd more than 5 metres off the ball, wasn't it?
It was, and it was effective because it allowed Camporelli to do exactly as Gary suggested he would. Play onto that side of the ground. Murphy off hands. Gee, the conditions are really breezy out there at the moment. Hume just went and got it and earned a free kick. Fair enough in these conditions when you throw yourself at the ball like that. Hume gets up immediately, plays on without much thought or direction there. Bassett. Hart. Beaumont picks up, right foot snap, high. Whitnell summing up his options. Allen almost claimed it behind. Bassett was there. Hickmott again, working hard. Whitnell, right foot snap. Got back. Did it nicely, the skipper.
So Rashudo does it nicely, as you said there. Brian out to McLeod. Picks it up in one motion, then onto the right foot, and suddenly it's up on centre wing. Great play as Kerry comes out. Thornton now has to get the ball and beat the tackle. Does it nicely. Over to Kuta Pooties. Still conceding some ground, but the Kuta kicks around the body. There were 3 Blues, but he's put it straight down the throat of the one Crow, and that was McLeod. So a shocking turnover there by Kuta. McLeod to Carey.
That's the combination I think all Adelaide people were drooling about when they first got Carey.
6 touch for Carey, who goes for the torpedo. It's a bit of a mongrel, and Mick, who loves the mongrel, thumps it over the line and out of bounds.
Let's have a look at Mick Martin-Shepherd. He's about 15 metres away there. If he takes the player out...
No, he didn't really.
Didn't get him, but his intention was to do what you were saying, Gerard.
If he does get him, it's going to be a shot from 10 metres out.
Throw in front of the Social Club at the Robert Heatley stand-in. Beautiful pick-up by Camporelli. The kick has to be a good one, though. McLeod sits back, almost takes the mark. He gets the free kick against Lappin for too high. Now, there was an advantage there, but the umpire didn't pay it. He's going to come back to Andrew McLeod at half-forward flank for the Crows. 13th touch.
Plenty of time here for the Blues to get back in defence as we wait for the ball to be relayed back. And here is the free kick. Just not much in it. When you're talking about a contested situation, that is very, very minor indeed. Now, McKernan's preparing to come on the ground, and he will do so for his first run. McLeod looking for the lead of Welsh. Out wide in the Social Club pocket. Lappin got it all to do on the boundary line. Squeezed the handball. And over the line out of bounds.
Brian, I reckon in these conditions, the umpires have got to pay those free kicks. Otherwise, we're going to have 40 throw-ups every quarter, and it's just going to become a real scrum. You get the free kicks, the game stays open, and I think it's more attractive than the other way around.
Yeah, frustrate supporters, though, Gerard. Biglands. Scrappy affair here. Just reckon if it's not a free kick, you just don't pay it.
But it was over the shoulder. It was there.
Gee, it was incidental contact in a contested situation.
I won't argue with you.
You've got to have your head pulled off your shoulders for Barge to concede a free here.
Big ones. The poker out of the pack might have been touched off hands. Mark probably wouldn't have counted. Franchina. Dangerously high. Edwards elevates. Hume. Hickmott. Tough. Bruising stuff in there at the moment to win the hard ball. 6-point margin in favour of Adelaide. No goals kicked in this second quarter, and we've played 7.5 minutes already.
Right on the 50 for the Adelaide Crows. Umpire throws the ball up. Spills out the back to Beaumont. Another ball up.
Who's going to be winning a foot race between McKernan and McGregor, would you reckon? Because they are the 2 closest to the Carlton goals, and they are 75 metres from the goal at the moment. So if Carlton win the footy here, it goes over the head of Corey McKernan, who's the player in shot closest to the goals there. It's going to be a fair chase.
Punched away by Thornton over to the boundary line for another throw in. And Gary, we all know the winner of that race. Forwards always run faster towards the goal than out of the 50.
But now it's official. Every player on the ground is in Adelaide's forward half. Once again, they've dropped somebody back at the contest. This time it's Beaumont. Look out if they get clear.
Hume in conditions tailor-made for his ability.
Yeah, all right.
Beaumont is on. Now he can swing onto the left boot. Get it in, say the Carlton fans. They have got the numbers. He kicks up, but he's once again spotted nearly the Adelaide Crows players. They had 4-1 almost to centre half before he came to the flank. As a result, the Crows run it out. Ineffective kicks, Carlton 14, Adelaide 4. Rashudo kicks up to centre wing. Beaumont got across. Edwards dropped the mark in the end. He flicks it back to Massey. Big chance here for the Blues. Massey knocks it back. The Birdman did all sorts of acrobatics. He got it forward. Edwards fumbled, got the handball out. Good play by Waite. Favola to the boundary line. They have a throw in on half-forward front for the Blues.
Geez, they've got some numbers around the ball at the moment, Carlton. Crows have got a few free players just in the middle of the ground.
Boundary throw in. Biglands. Allen. Hickmott, Smart, Hume, Camporelli, all of those players I mentioned trying to win the contested ball at ground level.
One of those days, I think, where the ball itself it's not heavy, it's just slippery. It's got one of those really greasy sheens on it, so the handling of the footy's been just like that, straight through the hands.
Beaumont squeezed it out to Waite, and there's not going to be a lot of room to operate. There's a bit of a stoush behind play with Massey and his former teammate Waite.
Interesting, the umpires have decided when they throw it up, they're not going to throw it high in the air both times today, so it's not allowing any third man up in the contest.
60 metres out from the Carlton goal. Edwards, tackled by two Blues. Beaumont. Fletcher, the bump. John Cock got 2 first-quarter goals. Stenglein always gets a job. Over the top. Thornton knocked the ball down. Lappin near the boundary line. Edwards. Gee, it's not pretty, but it's hard football at the moment. Boundary throw-in.
And this is the way Carlton like to go about it. Plenty of room, number 1 long kicking team in the competition, and they kick the ball short, the least amount in the competition. So with this setup, bang it in, get it in quick.
Over the top, Allen taps it, but there's nobody there, so Biglands does the roving, gets it out to Burton. Burton high up and under with the left boot, up to the 450. Carey is being held. Umpire called play on. Rashudo met solidly by Hume. That was a good clash. Talk about a rock in a hard place. They dive in on top of it. We'll have another bounce 45 metres out from the Crows' goal. It's hard going.
Not pretty. Those stats, Gary, surely indicate that they're very good in the long kick and not so many in the short kick. Good for these conditions, surely.
Well, you'd reckon, Brian, and this setup, you'd probably hope that they did it on quicker and longer.
Here's Rashudo crashing through, does it well, gets it up. John Cock grabbed without the ball, no, says the umpire. Off the ground goes McKay, but it's going to come back if Tawney can pick it up. He's bet by McKernan. It came out to McGregor, got it out wide to Hart. Hart half forward flank. Hart picks it up. You can see a bit of a puddle out there. He decides to go for a torpedo, doesn't get onto it. The ball bounces awkward in front of Mickey Martin. He just runs straight at it and heads for the boundary line. We'll have a throw in.
Well, that was justice. Mick was on the end of the Ben Hart mongrel, so he finally found out how his midfielders feel when he delivers it from fullback.
Mick says, well, all you got to do is run straight at it and you'll be right. Straight lines.
Hasn't had the opportunity to play on his mate Wayne Carey just yet, but it may come later in the game if Carey is to settle in the goal square. Fletcher, Camporelli. First bit of linking play we've seen from the Blues. Good penetrating run from Camporelli. The panic's on. Beaumont there. One-on-one with Edwards. Who went out? Bit of a hole going each way, but Carlton have got it to the right end.
What's great about the panic is there was a one-on-one contest there between Beaumont and Edwards, and they knew if anybody was a decisive winner, it was going to be worthy of a goal. Edwards there won because if Beaumont wins it, she's all through the middle.
Leg speed becomes so critical when you play that position, and Edwards just out a bit more.
1 goal lead to Adelaide. Edwards tidies up last line of defence. Bassett, just the mongrel. No thought at all, Jared, because he kicked it in amongst 3 Carlton players. Allen didn't get his balance as he tried to get it for bowler. Camporelli, already 2 goals in the game. High ball, no hope for the Carlton players there. Ball out loose once again, and Adelaide away.
Yes. And while it wasn't the best thought-out kick before, it was good because it cleared the zone. McGregor thrown on the ground, ball up. And today, boys, it just seems distance is everything because there's not too many kicks, as we saw from Allen, that are going to hit the target.
Great tackle from Camporelli. You're right, Eddie, this ground is in such great condition that any ball that hits and's been kicked over 50 metres, it's going to run and bounce another 20. So you can really make some yards, and that's why I guess Dennis Pagan set up the way he has. The next challenge is to find that player with the leg speed to run onto it and get the right matchup.
It's a magnificent surface here at Optus Oval. I wonder if the president of Carlton could tell the bloke who runs Telstra Dome about him.
Well, they got the initial one from here, Edwin. It was looking good a couple of years ago, did they not?
There's an interesting game of Russian roulette going on here. You've got Brett Burton and Lappin playing on each other. Burton at the moment is in the goal square as a full-back, and Lappin is just hanging around looking for that free kick from the pack.
Rashudo's been very busy in this second quarter. He gets it out to McLeod, who is dominating now. Up towards Carey and Whitnell wrestling with each other. Allen just knocked it out. Carey's, tell you what, his presence is being felt up there at the moment. There's a few of them ducking and weaving, and Carey wins out. Does it beautifully, the King. Gets the handball out to Massey. Massey now sets it up. An ordinary kick, but Lappin gets back and takes the mark for Carlton.
What you can't do is pinpoint in conditions like this. They've got to get a structure in place where if they've got a top of the square, bang it in there.
It's almost schoolboy-like football here today. Lappin has a bounce. Over to McKay. The handball was ordinary. He kept going, Lappin, and the handball's on. He fell over again. What's he got? Skates on. Here's McLeod. McLeod could punish. He usually does, and he absolutely spanks him. Goal!
Week after week, I go into the streets and meet all sorts of very interesting people.
If aliens were looking for intelligent life forms, they'd be very disappointed. Yep, I mean a lot of crazy fans.
But now I'm proud to tell you I've become a true Crazy fan myself. And why not? Crazy Johns are the best mobile phone retailers in the country because everyone knows they give the best deals. Crazy Johns are #1 for mobile phones. Call 13 22 99.
Crazy Johns, we love you, mate!
Adelaide have kicked 5 of the last 6 goals. McLeod, 8 possessions this quarter, 6 inside 50s for the game. He is going very well indeed. And I guess the bonus for the coaches in conditions like these is that you find out who can put the head over the ball. Let's go down to Michael Roberts.
Just followed that up there to quarter time. Matthew Lappin has screw-ins. He's definitely got screw-ins on.
Okay, well, my apologies to Lappin, to...
There's a close look at them.
There they are.
Just can't stand up in the wet, unfortunately.
Might be the short screw-ins.
That's a free kick, surely.
McLeod, McKay, through. Here go the Blues to centre forward. Pavola had a bit of a jump out of it, and then his opponent, McGregor, nudged him under it.
He's had Whitnell taken away. Whitnell's now playing on Carey. McGregor has been unpassable.
Just about to break them open here at Adelaide at the moment. Bit of run through the middle. Smart. Carey. Still dangerous. Allen it is. Perry. Carey again. He seems like he's been involved in just about every goal. And there's another one. McLeod's got 2. And Carey instigated it with a handball.
There's the double.
There's a school of thought that says when it gets wet and the conditions are difficult, that it brings teams back together because, you know, it takes away the opportunity to show their skills. There's also another school of thought that says that the class just comes out and the gap widens even greater. And I think what we're seeing today, particularly not so much all over the ground, but from this man, is that is the case. He is making the rest look just silly at the moment.
It's all about balance and class, isn't it, sport at the end of the day? And McLeod has just shown 2 examples of it. A beautiful kick out of the centre by Shirley, and getting back to take the mark was Whitnell. That's probably been the difference with Lappin having a few opportunities and slipping over, and McLeod being able to hold his feet, regardless of the stops or moulded soles, whatever the case may be. As it comes out to McKernan. First touch coming up for Corey, who's only been on for about 10 or 15 minutes. He goes out to Lappin, and Lappin's got it this time. 6 possession. Has looked dangerous, Lappin. He's been in the right position. That kick was a beauty, straight down the throat of Pavola. Tough to kick it from here, though.
He's one of the mercurial types that could, Brendan Pavola, every now and then.
First mark, 1 kick, 1 mark so far, and of course Brendan Pavola has been able to kick the 1 goal.
That lady there getting a photo of the back end of Brendan Pavola.
Well picked.
She's actually getting a photo of the strap in front of the lens there. Good answer. What happened there?
This is a long run-up for a wet day. Peter Dacos used to kick off 2 steps in a wet day, but Brendan Pavola is running off about 30 metres.
Comes in, shanks it to the top of the square. Up they go. Has he held? No, umpire says play on. Letting it go. Good umpiring there, and we'll have a bounce rule. Is he blowing the whistle?
Yeah, is he just going on with it a little bit?
Okay.
Just throw it up, mate.
And he does. So here we go.
We're happy with that.
Now look how quickly they dissipate there.
Biglands gets it out. Tawney to Edwards, up to the centre wing position. The race is on here. Thornton has to keep his feet, decides to go to the boundary line and disguises it well. But a throw in. Pretty much on centre wing here at Optus Oval with 6 1/4 minutes left in the first half of play. 41 plays, 23. And as Brian Taylor said, the Crows have now kicked the last 3 goals of the game and 6 of the last 7.
Franchina on to McLeod too. 17 possessions to the champion, so gets his second opponent, Anthony Franchina.
Biglands Kudafides.
Not one of his best.
Not successful.
Wasn't it great to see the umpire pick up the ball and throw it in the air and not waste 15 seconds clearing the packs and then trying to get a decent bounce?
Waving his arm behind him and all that sort of nonsense.
It was excellent, and the players took notice of one thing, and that was that they had to win the ball and forget about all other actions.
Umpire Matthew Head. We'll give him a rap.
Yep, Kerry.
He's been good, Kerry.
Oh, look, he's been in everything. Gary, that's gone forward. Shirley. The fly by Perry, unsuccessful. Burns. Onto the ground.
Perfect Ronnie Burns day.
And boundary throw in forward pocket in the Burns area.
I just reckon Wayne Carey's had a look at these conditions and said, righto, I've just got to compete, put myself there, give him something to kick to, try and create something if it comes along. And his willingness to do that has been sensational.
Very professional attitude by him today. Whitnall just happy to see it back so they could readjust again and get all the defensive areas covered. And there's McLeod, who's set the game alight in the second quarter with the only 2 goals of the quarter. He's had Hume at stages, and now Franchina's there, just tickling up the stomach area. Biglands, Laddams, Carlton in over it, lock it in.
Inside 50s for the quarter. Carlton had 7 for no score. Adelaide 12 for 2-2.
I reckon, Gary, in these conditions, it'd be just great to get everybody else up the ground and put McLeod and Franchina in the 50 and just see how Franchina travels if the ball goes over his head.
Here's Ronnie Burns on his favoured left boot. Kicks it to the hot spot. Probably overbaked it a little bit. Chance for Lance, who thumps for the boundary line and disguised it well enough. Throw in.
I don't think anyone's safe after last night when I saw Robert Murphy get pinged for a deliberate out of bounds. The most staggering thing I've seen for the year, I reckon.
It bounced about 35 times before it got to the boundary line, didn't it? I think even the most one-eyed of Collingwood supporters laughed at that one.
A few of them there.
Camporelli to the boundary line. Over line out of bounds.
You've got to ask a question about this forward structure, which was dangerous early for Carlton. They've been inside, I think, 50, Eddie said, on 12 occasions.
That's right.
7 for this quarter and haven't been able to kick a goal.
But it hasn't gone in quickly like this one.
It's not really, they haven't got the pace.
So Massey takes off. Fisher right on him. Fisher worries him and does it well. Locks it in. Over line out of bounds.
Well, who'd be their quickest players? You'd have Jared Waite, Matthew Lappin.
Sure whether Lappin is explosive quick. I mean, they probably haven't got that.
Probably has got a bit of toe.
They haven't got that McLeod type who just puts, not many have, who puts 5 metres between him and his opponent.
McKernan sets himself up, gets the tap. Hart to the boundary line, beats Favola.
I like Waite, though, in that area, because Lappin, I reckon, when he does win the ball on the break in the open paddock, does like to turn back into the play, whereas Waite would continue to run forward.
Is he quick? I don't know, Jared Waite. Well, has he got that good leg speed?
He looks quick and athletic to me. Looks lively quick.
30th stoppage of the quarter so far. Up goes McKernan. Can't quite get it out. McCormick on hands and knees. Fed it out, but it was picked up by Hart, who flicks it over the top to Laddams. Laddams now on the left boot, favoured side, kicks up, there's no one home. He'll want to find the boundary here, and he does, and that is an absolute ripping kick from Laddams, who is growing in stature each week as a player.
This is the interesting stat, the clearances. Adelaide 16 and Carlton 6. And I think that is one of the reasons why they've put some space between themselves and the Blues in this quarter, the Crows. Blues yet to kick a goal in the second term after starting really well.
Allen got the tap. Kick in from Welsh. Up towards Carey, it's punched away. Ronnie Burns running hard at the ball, couldn't quite get there. Ooh, close enough, but Camporelli got the benefit of the doubt on the throw. Now the Blues have got something on. The race is on, but every time it's kicked out in front of the Adelaide Crows. So Fisher sticks his head down and chases, but Massey had about 30 metres on him. Fisher did very well to put the pressure on. That was great play by young Fisher. Over the line and out of bounds by Waite. So a couple of the young Carlton players starting to have a real go for them this afternoon. Throw in on centre wing as Waite gets a pat on the head from Camporelli. A great chase by Fisher. Throw in on centre wing. We've got just under 4 minutes left in the quarter. The Blues need to get one back. McCormick, good play under the pack. Kicks up towards McKernan. Being held, surely knows the umpire. Here's a chance for Murphy if he can get it out. Magnificent tackle there for the Adelaide Crows. I'll wait to see who it was getting up.
I think it was Hart, Ed.
I think it was. Have a look at this. That was Bickley, and just great stuff by the two-time premiership captain.
Ball up, half forward for the Blues. Can someone for Carlton capitalise on the good work that they've put in the last couple of moments? Ball to the boundary. Just over 3 minutes remaining in this first half of football. Andrew McKay has had a big influence on the game today.
Haven't scored a goal, Brian, since the 18.5-minute mark of the first quarter of the Blues. In that time, Adelaide have kicked 3.
Yep, got the last 3. Adelaide 2 in this quarter, and John Cock the last of the first quarter. Clark in ruck with McKernan. Houlihan, who's spent time on the bench here today, will have another ball up. At the 32nd or 33rd stoppage of the quarter. And there is the Carlton bench. Matthew Allen on the right-hand side. Hume, who's done a little bit of work alongside Andrew McLeod today. Hickmont's there as well. Hart charging, but not winning the ball. McCormick in there. Stenglein. Beaumont wanted it, so he dived on it and then was unable to extract it out.
Talk about the clearances, Jared, and how well Adelaide have done. Good reasons for that. The ruckman has been very good all year.
Carlton yet to register any type of a score in this quarter as the ball goes to their end. Murphy gives the Blues a chance. Fisher out in front. Desperate play by Massey. Soccer tactics being employed by Adelaide. McGregor had Murphy running straight at the hips there. It was good play. Fisher. And Burton marks on the last line of defence. Last time Carlton was scoreless in a quarter was round 2 last season against Sydney at this Oval. And it may happen again here with just under 2 minutes remaining in the quarter if Adelaide don't concede. Hart out wide, so some pressure mounting here on the Adelaide Crows defence. Clark tackled high. Houlihan. Soccer off the ground by Massey just to get it out of the danger zone to the wing, and he did well.
Massey might have found a yard, Jared, but just on the rucking situation. Number 1 in the competition, the Crows. The Blues down just out at number 9, but with Clark and Biglands, always giving them a chance at these clearances.
Tudor-Fetty's doing the ruck work there. Has a second go. McCormick over the top will have another bounce.
I think the most promising move is that if they can get Justin Murphy close to the goals. I think he's the most genuine goal kicker they got in their side. He can smell a goal and he can generally deliver.
Favola got it down. McKay close to the boundary line. Over it goes for a throw-in.
You just have a look at it now. Corey McKernan's the man inside 50. Closest to goal with McGregor. He's about 45 metres out. Now, if it goes over their head, I'm afraid Corey's not going to win the race back. So you just got to try and structure up a bit differently.
Houlihan tries to squeeze the kick out. Smart over the top.
Just tell me why in that situation, Gary, though, where Carlton have got some really good paddock play going here today, why Adelaide wouldn't sit a player back in that area?
I think it tells you the Gary Ayres mindset, Brian. And Jared alluded to it earlier as the duck gets stuck into it, but he's very much a one-on-one man all over the ground. And not too often he gives a player the licence, a la Adam Simpson, who sweeps back in that role off his own bat very well. I think Gary Ayres much prefers them to play man-to-man, and just get them not running clearly.
Just enjoying himself. At the end of the day, Adelaide are 3 goals up, and Gary Ayres would have the last laugh. As we continue to have these ugly scrums. Gary, your point on pace is well made.
Carey. It's far more, it's a lot more fun.
Matthew Lappin, because Ronnie Burns comes under the ground, they've had to take Matthew Lappin from an attacking wing to a defensive back pocket.
I think, actually, if we get the cameras on Carey, we'll let you know if they get away from the scrum. We'll cut back to it.
It is a mauling scrum at the moment.
It collapsed then, the scrum, didn't it?
It did, yeah. And luckily they haven't played time on, because we might just get to half-time and reload here. Disposals, 150 at Adelaide, 100 to Carlton, so well on top. 5 seconds left. Carlton are going to go through a quarter for the first time this year without a score. And we'll have a throw-in with 1 second left on the clock. And it has certainly been all Adelaide as far as the scoring is concerned. 6 of the last 7 goals scored for the Adelaide Crows. Blues haven't scored since the 18.5-minute mark of the first quarter. That's a goal, of course. They scored 1 behind late in that first quarter. And at half-time, they have the job in front of them, trailing by 18 points.
And that man has been the big story today. Wayne Carey back after an operation, and he has looked outstanding, as has Andrew McLeod, Gary, because together they have got Adelaide 3 goals ahead at half-time.
Indeed, it is the Blues, 18 points behind Adelaide. 3-5-23 Carlton, Adelaide 6-5-41.
This news break is brought to you by the bank that helps more South Australians own their home than any other lender.
Good afternoon. Speed limits on some open highways will be cut to 100 kilometres an hour. The new limit comes into effect tomorrow in an effort to reduce the road toll. Of the 73 fatalities this year, more than half have been in rural areas. A miner in New South Wales has been forced to cut off his own arm after becoming trapped under a tractor. The 44-year-old was working 3 kilometres underground when the vehicle rolled on him. And Mark Philippoussis is through to the 4th round at Wimbledon. He'll take on the world #1 Andre Agassi tomorrow.
You think I want to believe that a CSI could commit murder?
The proof is undeniable.
My fingerprints, my DNA.
The evidence is damning, and the truth is unbelievable.
I think that you and I should head over to the police station.
Killer CSI Tuesday. Then when the pressure gets too much,
Go away.
Okie dokie.
what's a girl to do?
We're very good at pretending.
That's why I employ you.
We've been through this. It can't happen.
CSI and Stingers make Tuesday night crime time on 9.
Fantastic. Shall we call him now? Sophie, I've got the winner of the competition. There's his number. Oh, he's cute.
Oh, it's engaged.
Don't miss important calls when you're on the internet. Be online and use your phone at the same time. For frustration-free internet, join iPrimus Broadband.
Mannix can save you energy and money. Mannix has bulk purchased the award-winning Brivus highly efficient multiplex ducted gas heating series. Mannix will design a Brivus ducted gas heating system to suit your home and save you up to $400. Plus give you 12 months interest-free. Plus give you free gas connection. Mannix and Brivus, a winning team.
Introducing New Gel Ink technology by Parker. New ink that writes smoother, cleaner, and more brightly. It's the next giant leap in ink technology. And the new gel ink refills will fit any existing Parker ball pen. Aim high. Parker.
With rear DVD screens, V8 power, and Holden's finest engineering. Caprice. Holden Caprice.
Wham! Bam! Thank you, ma'am. Now it's video games
I just kissed someone.
for grown-ups. And think your money's safe in the bank? How the new crooks can steal your name and your cash. 60 Minutes tonight.
Messiah, Vengeance is Mine premieres tonight on 9.
Welcome back to Optus Oval. Been a low-scoring affair here in the first half. It is the Adelaide Crows 6-5-41 leading Carlton 3-5-23 scoreless. For the first time since when, Brian, just off the top of your head?
Well, I think it was about round 2 last year. That's the Blues. Scoreless in that second quarter. Goal kickers there. Camporelli 2, Favola 1. McLeod was sensational in the second quarter, kicking 2. And John Cock got his 2 in the first quarter.
They've looked a little more dangerous up forward. Certainly early in the game, Carlton's forward set up with the Paddock in full vogue, created a few problems, but it dried up pretty quickly. And Adelaide, on the other hand, had a nice mix of tools and smalls. Carey was giving them something, and then you had the likes of Laddams and John Cock bobbing up for a couple.
Yeah, as I said, John Cock was very good in that first quarter, but it was Laddams that were able to get the first score on the board here with the help of Carey. I just remember just about every goal that's been kicked in the game so far, Carey seems to be involved in some way in setting it up, and it was Laddams who's always dangerous. In these conditions, he was good. John Cock pushed off the ball there, but he was able to recover, keep himself in the contest there, as Welsh was able to get the ball long, and then, of course, John Cock was down there to get himself into a good position, as you see Perry finishing off as well.
Yeah, John Cock has given Andrew Mackay something to think about. You see Mackay there, he was going to the marking contest and left John Cock on the ground. I think Jared pointed out the spoil wasn't all that great when it went back into a dangerous area and created that goal. But really, the story of the game so far is this bloke, Andrew McLeod, who I think at one stage I might have said that there was a bit of a lull in proceedings. Someone needed to lift it up and break it open, and who better than Andrew McLeod? 17
disposals, 6 inside 50s and 2 magical goals in what have been trying conditions. He set the game alight. He scored the only 2 goals of that second quarter at the 14-minute mark and the 16-minute mark, and it was the break that Adelaide had needed, and all of a sudden they looked like they're controlling the game pretty nicely indeed.
Yeah, we saw a few Carlton players slipping over and double handling with some of the very good players in the competition, but it just highlights just how good this fellow is.
What is it, a balance thing? Or?
Balance for sure, really goes to ground, but it's his ball handling that's impressed me most. I mean, he's so clean. I mean, he makes good decisions. He realises, have a look at this. Just one grab, pulls away, inevitably hits a target or goes long at the right time, and well, he's just an exceptional player, Brian, and there's one of those occasions that he didn't go to ground, and Wayne Carey sets him up here beautifully. That is a great game. And those two, you think are going to have a pretty good understanding and have a bit of a say come September.
Combination, they've been very, very good indeed. Carey's been in amongst just about every goal.
Scott Camporelli started the game like a bomb, kicked the first 2 goals inside a couple of minutes, and he's ended up with 15 possessions in the first half, gone inside 50, or put the ball inside 50 on 4 occasions.
Yeah, look, kicked the first 2 goals of the game for the Blues, and they looked really good. They had a nice forward line, they had it nice and open. Jared mentioned that they had plenty of room there going forward. Camporelli not only kicked goals, but he was able to gain possessions, got 10 in the first quarter, Camporelli. Spent time on the bench for some instructions by Dennis Pagan, but nevertheless he was very dangerous, but faded a little as the game went on.
We've got to find an avenue to goal somewhere at the Carlton Footy Club. Matthew Lappin shapes as perhaps their most likely contender, but gee, he had some problems. So much slipped over. Michael Roberts told us he had the right boots on, but he just lost his footing on a couple of occasions. Just that one, double grabbed that one, and I guess in these conditions, players that are human can make those errors. This was almost comical. You had this one stitched up, but as can happen, Brian, you just lose your feet at times.
Look, it's really wet and greasy, but he seems to be falling over more than most at the moment. You can see he controlled the bounce there, but, you know, Michael Roberts reported that he had the long stops in, or the screw-ins in, but they may have been the shorty screw-ins from the look of that.
Were indeed. The big one here, uncontested possessions. Have a look at that. 79 to Adelaide, 39 to Carlton. They are just working so hard. They can't get the ball out into space. Their setup at the moment probably doesn't allow for it.
And the marks, 26-14, Gary, just showing the aerial superiority of the Adelaide Crows to this stage of the game.
Well, still, the margin is only 3 goals in today's conditions. It might be worth more, or closer to 5, you would imagine. So a bit of work to do for the Blues. We'll take a break and update you on the other scores going on around the country. You're watching Sunday Football.
CSI Miami and Without a Trace are America's most watched new dramas.
So you've got to ask yourself the question, do I want the best? The mind that brought you CSI.
That could mean everything.
Brings you 2 new smash hits, and that's not hype.
It's a fact.
I don't know what the Latin name for this is.
Anthony LaPaglia, David Caruso.
The clock's ticking. Let's get out there.
CSI Miami, Without a Trace, coming in July to 9.
Catch all the footy action on the big screen at Sky City Adelaide.
The Nissan Pulsar is famous for being only $19,990 and for being loaded up with features. Now we're giving the $19,990 Pulsar a very big feature, a 1.8-litre engine. The 1.8-litre, not 1.6, 1.8-litre Pulsar Now only 19,990 with air. Big engine, little price.
If you think this has a big sale, have a look at Radio Rental's biggest ever stock take sale. Over $5 million worth of quality electricals must be cleared, including a huge range of Panasonic TVs at never-to-be-repeated deals. Cash rent or interest-free, it's your choice at Radio Rentals. And with selected TVs, you'll get a bonus gift voucher worth up to $1,000. Radio Rentals must clear over $5 million worth of quality electricals at our biggest ever stock take sale. Now that's big!
Postcards, award-winning television made right here in Adelaide, showcasing our state, uncovering our best-kept secrets, from spectacular icons above to hidden treasures below. Keith Conlon and the Postcards team, together a wealth of experience, a half hour of fun, and yarns that are simply unique to South Australia. Postcards, a celebration of our state, and still #1.
This AFL coverage proudly brought to you by the new Holden Caprice, Sky City Adelaide and Chartered Accountants.
Half-time here at Optus Oval, 3 goals. The Adelaide Crows in front, 6-5-41. The Blues, 3-5-23. Camperelli's got 2 for Carlton. McLeod and John Cock have got 2 each for Adelaide. Another big game going on down at York Park in Launceston. It is Fremantle up against Hawthorn. Let's take a look at the first half highlights.
Smith pounces, kicks inside 50. Holland was hoping, ball eluded him. Good handball, Dixon to Leggett. He shoots it through for the Hawks first. Ball back into play. As we said, Simmons starting up forward. Down to Pavlich, uses some pace and some space. Wow. And slots the goal.
Barely to 15, went to number 15. Hodge swings it around the outer side. Wonderful kick. Rawlings. Smith forward at the wing, looks inside the 50. Coming on the lead is Dixon. Hands to it, couldn't hang on. Chance for Crawford, aided by a good shepherd from Vandenberg. Kicks the goal. Sandlands, 3 covered him. Ran into a pack. Ball falls to Cox. High kick inside 50. Chance for the Leapers. 4 go up. No one comes down with the ball. Back to Cox. Over the top's Leckis. Ball will bounce to him. Sees the goal. Looping handball. Crawford. Hayes stood up at a tackle. Farmer couldn't control it. Comes to Cook to Farmer. Goes with the outside of the boot. Too clever by half. Hazelby to Pavlich. Can he kick his second? 52 metres out. It's working back on the breeze. Medhurst did well. Crumbed behind by Stone. Well, half crumb. Well done, Medhurst. Got it to Bell. Runs into an open goal and kicks it.
Little handball over the top to Cook. Now back to Shammer. They've worked it well. Bell takes the mark, 48 from goal. Plays on, inboard, through the corridor, kicks the goal. Sandilands directs it down. Coming across on the angle, Leckis was taken high. He may have kicked the goal anyway. Crawling after it, Shammer. Picked up by Crawford. Brilliant hand pass. Leckis runs inside the 50. It bounces once and goes through for a goal. Leckis on fire. He's got 3. Dockers have the numbers back. Dixon had a couple of bites of the cherry. Vandenberg sprints clear. McManus corrals him well. Got the handball back to Hodge. High kick by Hodge. For the pack. Got crunched. Play on. Sandlands. Longmuir. Sidestep. Goal! Smith with that breeze wobbles it and wobbles it long to Graham. Wants to play on. Grover comes at him. Graham sails it over the goal umpire's hat.
They are well into the last quarter down there at York Park in Launceston. We're going to put up a progressive score. If you don't want to know, we suggest you look away right now. Three goals is the margin here at Optus Oval. It is the Crows 6-5 up against the Blues 3-5. We'll take a break and be back with all the second half action on Sunday football.
When the coach speaks, Adelaide listens. Join the growing number of people who get it first on 9, straight from the inside. Make your appointment with Crows coach Gary Ayres. Every Monday, National 9 News at 6.
It was a night of quiz jams.
Oh, this is the big one, mate.
Close encounters.
Trouble is, I mean, the answer could be D.
And sweet success.
Won 125,000.
Now David Brissett's ready to roll. Millionaire, 8:30 Monday on 9.
The energy market's getting tough. Things are changing. We need an edge.
Well, let's look at the options.
When it comes to business thinking, chartered accountants have the superior training and business experience to guide your business in the right direction.
When would you like to start?
Start right now.
The new Commodore. It's like corners were made for it.
It's stock take time. Prices are slashed. Grab a bargain at Truscott's. RCA 66cm stereo TVs, 200 off. Truscott Hi-Fi. Adelaide's lowest prices with up to 24 months interest-free terms.
What's happening, Angel? Look, it really is Barclays help on this one.
What y'all need me to do?
Just blend in.
Cameron Diaz, Drew Barrymore, Lucy Liu, Charlie's Angels, at cinemas July 3.
Some people see me as debonair, a bon vivant, a sophisticated man about town. But there's another player who fits that category. Crazy John. Like me, he's been around a while and has plenty of experience where mobile phones are concerned. You get the best deal with Crazy John's. He's Australia's best mobile phone retailer. I'm with Crazy. So if you need a mobile, remember, Crazy John's for mobile phones. Call 13 22 99.
Crazy Johns, we love you, mate.
If you think this has a big sale, have a look at Radio Rental's biggest ever stock take sale. Over $5 million worth of quality electricals must be cleared, including a huge range of Sony TVs at never to be repeated deals. Cash rent or interest free, it's your choice at Radio Rentals. And with selected TVs, you'll get a bonus gift voucher worth up to $1,000. Radio Rentals must clear over $5 million worth of quality electricals at our biggest ever stock take sale. Now that's big!
What would you do for 50 grand? Tuesday, the hit American series that puts relationships to the ultimate test.
Are you disappointed in your man?
Yes.
Only the toughest couple will survive. Fear Factor, 7:30 Tuesday on 9.
On McAuliffe tonight, our pain is your gain.
Got to make some sacrifice.
Or is it the other way around?
It feels good.
Join Anthony LaPaglia, Dave Hughes and Battle Sharon Girdle on McAuliffe tonight, 9:30 Monday on 9.
Welcome back to Sunday football, and the Blue Baggers, well, they're nice and rugged up and ready to play. Certainly the supporters are. Let's hope the team comes out red hot and fired up too, Gerard Healy, because they haven't been able to score a goal in that second quarter of football. They trail by 18 points. A margin is not insurmountable, but goals at a premium because the Blues have only kicked 3 of those goals for the whole first half.
And when you consider they kicked 2 in the first 3 or 4 minutes of the game, they've virtually kicked 1 goal and a half of footy, so they've got to reconstruct. And they've also got to nullify some of the Adelaide better players. And I think that Brett Burton has been one of those, Brian. And Nigel Smart, I think, has been outstanding across a half-back line as well. But Burton, he's a player that we just haven't seen the best of just yet. And these conditions aren't his preferred, but he's been an outstanding player. He's got plenty of clearances. And he just is a player that if you can afford to have him up on a wing, you know you've got great depth in your forward line.
16 touches in that first half for Burton, and been a welcome return for him. Biglands has been important. You see Burton getting around the end so often. He's done it off half-back, moves to half-forward, can play anywhere and probably play a major role in the outcome of today's game.
Ed, we spoke a lot about the players' ability to keep their feet, and at half-time, Gary and Brian looked and highlighted Andrew McLeod and Matthew Lapp, and I get the feeling that one of the great differences for players that do tend to slip over is just purely flexibility. Andrew McLeod can run almost flat out when he's bent over, whereas Matthew Lappin has to sort of
turn his body sideways.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go down to Michael Roberts' boundary side.
Well, thanks, Ed. And that 3 goals up there is worth 6 goals. It is very, very heavy down here, that's for sure. Now, we've finally found out why Barnaby French didn't start today. He's got the flu. And I also just spoke to the doctor. Mark Prosciutto had blurred vision for a good 15 minutes, so I'm really worried about him. He is starting in the centre. He's OK now, so that's good signs for the Crows.
All right, well, Gerard, just before we get underway in this third term, the Blues, they're a no-trick side, really. They've straight got to go hard at the ball. Is there anything that you can conjure here for the Blues to be able to do something a bit different? They've pushed Murphy forward.
Well, he's the one. I think he's capable of kicking multiple goals, but they've got to get the ball out of the centre.
Start of the second half, Adelaide by 18 points. Whitnell on Carey. Should be a jewel to watch in this second half. Stenglein closing on the ball here. Didn't win it. John Cock. No one inside the 50 at all for Carlton. They're all up, 4 to the ball almost. McLeod. Beautiful left foot kick. Inboard. Perry almost stretching. Whitnell lucky to get boot to ball. You can see the puddles of water forming under the players' feet. Carey from a standing start would have been a goal. John Cock will kick it. Thought it was almost through. But John Cock will kick his 3rd goal if successful. Carey once again.
He's got the swagger back, hasn't he, Big Wayne?
Well, I tell you, the thing about as a forward, everyone says, oh, you've got to go for those because you're not quite sure where the goal line is. Give me spill, mate, Kieran.
He's marked that in the 3rd row nearly, isn't he?
I thought he did too. Now look, these conditions mean you've just got to get the ball down straight onto your boot.
This is no certainty.
It is not a certainty. For his 3rd goal, John Cock comes in, decreased the angle, and guess what? Adelaide have ticked 4 in a row.
Chartered Accountants bring you another great moment. Young demon Russell Robertson has made a name for himself with some classic high marks. And in round 13 last year, when Melbourne met Essendon, he climbed high against the Bombers for one of his best.
High kick to centre wing. Hard one to mark that one, but a beautiful mark taken nevertheless by the man who was recruited for taking screamers on Almost Footy legends, Russell Robertson. He has his 6th disposal.
Delivered with precision by Chartered Accountants. CA, employ our thinking.
So the Blues have now, Adelaide have now kicked 7 of the last 8 goals of the game, the last 4 in a row. Once again, they go forward, and it's starting to look ominous now for the Blues. This could be absolutely blown apart in the next 10 minutes unless they can get something going here.
The thing is, with the weather, Ed, you'd imagine that there's some more rain coming, so if they do slop through another 3 or 4, and then it starts to bucket down, just pack up.
Literally or just in the back line?
Back up. Massey over the top to Bickley. Good strong bodies, the Adelaide players. That's dropping the ball, though. Surely that was dropping the ball. Well, he had prior opportunity. He didn't handle and he didn't kick. So what could it possibly be?
That rule has totally changed since the start of the year.
Now, they do say if the ball's knocked out in the act of the tackle, it's play on. But come on. McKay, here's a chance for Lappin. Leg speed all important, as Gary said. Hart, though, beat him for speed and beat him for strength in the end. Fell over again, Lappin, and the turnover is going to cost because Smart will kick from 45. He's missed it, though. He's hooked it. Carey comes across the front. Carey's got it. Carey missed it. What happened there? Here it goes again. Well, John Cobb, he stopped it as well. Carey's going to have another go. He squares it up. Touch foul, says the umpire. Shirley's there over the line.
Surely he could kick it through.
Can you believe this? Now the umpires are joining in. Get the Benny Hill music out.
Comedy capers it.
Yeah, an airy, the duck. Kick, and the mark's been taken by Stenglein. The kick came in quickly from Laddams. It was a beautiful kick. Right, have a look at this. Is this deliberate? Oh, you can't just let the bloke grab it and run at the goal. He's got to hit it somewhere. Surely. Carl Norman, how stiff is he?
Carl, he was stiff, but I reckon it was deliberate.
Oh, yeah, but he's deliberately hit it away from the bloke.
Still deliberate.
Oh, was he supposed to hit it?
What were his alternatives?
Push it down.
Grab the ball and be tackled.
Oh, gee. Well, feeling that was more Uncle Norman than Carl Norman, but anyway. Stenglein comes in to just about kill this game off and does.
With rear DVD screens, V8 power, and Holden's finest engineering. Caprice. Holden Caprice.
A 30-point advantage for Adelaide very early in this third quarter. Rain has ceased here momentarily, but dark clouds are closing. So it could be curtains for the Blues if they don't respond in the next 10 or 15 minutes. McCormack trying to affect the extraction out of the middle. Unsuccessful, and we'll have another ball up. So Carlton have not kicked a goal since the 18-minute mark of the first quarter. In fact, they have not kicked a score for quite some time. May have been the last scoring shot, the goal by Favola, his 100th at the 18-minute mark. We have another ball up, stacks on, which was the flavour of the first half here. We had an enormous amount of stoppages in that second quarter as the game started to close down a little. .30-point advantage for Adelaide. Kick inside 50 for Carlton. For the first time this half has been marked by Bassett. The sideways kicks. Remember, no rain at the moment, dry ball, able to do just a little more with the ball than they would have been otherwise. Hart, Rashudo, sure ball handling.
So Rashudo had a poke in the eye in the first quarter, kicks like a Carey in position. Couldn't quite get up to get that one. Biglands crashes through. Handball has been intercepted by Camporelli at the Beaumont on his left boot, just squeezes the kick out. Murphy looks into the middle of the ground, finds Waite. Waite dropped it. Held it for a long time. Now he gets it back to Murphy. Can't get past Tawney. Tawney does well. Kept his feet. Gets his pants pulled down. The shoot out to the boundary line. And they're calling deliberate. Well, that wasn't deliberate.
Garrett? I was waiting for the replay, Eddie. I was actually having a look at the stats. Yeah, no, he wouldn't have paid that. No. Wouldn't have paid that as deliberate.
Massey at the back. Here's Fletcher. Gets around his opponent, but runs back into trouble. Burton has been very good today around the body, but he puts it straight back to Fletcher. Almost whacks him. Oh, high up and under. Good luck here. Hume has to fly. Lappin at the back. This time he's held his feet. Favola's on him the square if he can get there. The kick was to the wrong side of the pack, though. There were two Blues on the left-hand side. And the Carlton crowds go up because that's their first score since the first quarter.
Wonder whether this, with the weather just dry at the moment, whether Brendan Favola to the goal square might be a bad option for at least 5 or 10 minutes. Give him a chance against Bassett to play a bit more conventionally. Let's face it, the goals have dried up. They're going to have to try something different.
Hart just receiving some attention from the trainers as well. The Stengline dishes out to Massey. Long ball to Carey. One-on-one, Whitnell. Whitnell wins out this time. The recovery. Thornton there in support. The handball probably unnecessary. Kurtafiti's attacked by 3. Through comes Biglands. Pushes the ball forward.
It's been impressive, Brett Biglands. He's a player that has just continued to improve 10% a year. And they've got themselves a fine ruckman now, the Crows.
5 unanswered goals for the Adelaide Crows. 8-5-53. Carlton 3-6-24. We've played 8 minutes of the third quarter. Smart. Adelaide into attack. Hart, Lappin. The contest. Franchina was in amongst it. The tackle on Hart. Highish tackle there, Shirley. Free kick will go Adelaide's way to Shirley. Laddams. May have been Gallagher, in fact. Kicked the ball forward. Welsh couldn't mark. McKay. Off hands. Under enormous pressure at the moment. The Carlton defence. And this is why, because Adelaide are having a real... Dispossessed free kick. Crowd goes up. Advantage paid.
7 free kicks apiece. Here's a chance now for Favola. Can he keep his feet? Chugger to stop the skills. Will he keep his feet? 1 out of 2 ain't bad. Over the line out of bounds. Throw in front of the George Harris Social Club stand here at Optus Oval.
And Brendan Favola knows there was a missed opportunity. Here's the Beaumont tackle on Nigel Smart. Went round a player, took away his prior opportunity rights, and right onto it, the umpire.
Good decision. Throw in. McKernan does the ruck work. Shoved Biglands out of the way. Got the kick to the hot spot. No one there for Carlton's. Picked up by Smart. Clearing kick is a thumping kick and a big chance now for the Birdman. Burton runs after it. But the ball stays in play, so Burton does it well. Murphy put himself out of the contest. He almost was 10 rows back by the time he ran around him. Up towards Thornton. Laddams has been good today. That was a magnificent handball for Burton, who kept running. And Murphy didn't go with him.
He may be lucky to stay on the ground.
Beautiful mark taken there by Scott Welsh. Burton's had 20 touches now.
He's been excellent, Brett Burton, on that wing. He's been running up and down that side of the ground all day. He's got magnificent fitness, and right now, if Justin Murphy is his opponent, then the question would have to be asked.
And Brett Burton reinventing himself up the ground. He had 29 disposals last week, including 8 marks and 3 goals, and today he's up to 20 already.
Just emphasises their talent, and I reckon that's why they're the biggest smoky at the moment for September.
Welsh comes in, sliced through it, didn't get a good purchase on the ball at all, and it's just got through for a point.
If you've got enough depth, Gary, to have Brett Burton up on the wing, you know he can go forward, he can go back. He's a very good utility.
It's a great spot for him too, Jared. You know, I'm a fan of the wing, and I reckon he suits it beautifully.
Camporelli, the kick in. Hume went down but recovered the mark. Wastes no time. Realises the importance and the urgency of scoring. Bassett no marks. McGregor wide, and here is that man that Jared and Gary have been speaking about. Burton. Into the middle. John Cock needs protection. Didn't get it in any way, shape or form from Bickley. McCormack. The back half of the centre square. Long ball, Lappin. 1 out, genuine contest. Hart. Fletcher was on the inside of the ball. Allowed Hart to skirt the outside edges. Do it very easily in defence. Adelaide at the moment. Burton again. Another possession. Racks them up. Massey, the former Blue. Chris Massey in his 66th career game. In the defensive 50 for Adelaide. They lead it at the moment, 54-24, 30-point advantage. Off hands, Franchina, Biglands, Whitnell, bit of volleyball action on there. The man that took them apart in the second quarter, McLeod, dumped. Koutafidis extracts, Waite, the centering ball to the hot spot. Not successful in the air, Lappin. Hume robes it front and centre, beautifully kicked offline. Just a minor score for the Blues. Still yet to kick a goal since the 18-minute mark of the first quarter.
Anthony Koutafidis maybe to the goal square. Should have kicked that down here and be shattered with that. But Koutafidis had Stingline for most of the afternoon. Maybe put him to the goal square for 10 minutes. Give him a chance to win one out. Just repeat, they have to do something to swing this around to give themselves a chance of winning the game.
The Blues just can't get those goals that can break a game open, can they, Owen? They're not. They get the opportunity and just missing them. In the meantime, have a look at this. Nigel Smart was 25 metres clear on centre wing, and now the ball is in pretty much in the goal square for the Crows. Good thump across the top of the pack there from Thornton, I think it was. And we'll have a throw in.
Well, the game at the moment is just about out of the grasp altogether. So wouldn't you try and do something before it is? And this wrestle went on. That wrestle then went on for another
and W.
minute.
Carey just made sure that no one joined in. And look at that.
Well, we might have a look at that again. I missed that myself. Yeah.
We'll get that for you next throw in. There'll be a few more before the game's over, I'm tipping. Forward pocket for the Adelaide Crows. McCormack tried to get it out for Carlton. Here's a second go at it now. Fired up Andrew McLeod's not giving much away. We'll have another bounce. We're 35 metres out.
There's Wayne Carey. Jared Waite.
Bigland's got the tap. Chance for Carlton to clear through Carl Norman. Norman's kick up the middle of the ground, but they're awake up to this, the Adelaide backmen. They're just running straight at the ball. Bassett got it out to Massey. Massey kicks long up towards the half-forward flank position. Big thump away there from Norman again. It spills down to Fletcher. Around the body he goes. Bassett is there, takes it to the boundary line. Throw in. We've been going for nearly 14 minutes in this third term. Carlton have not been able to score a goal since the 18.5-minute mark of the first term. And Adelaide have been able to kick 2 goals this quarter to extend their lead. 54-25.
That statistic about the disposals will be even more inflated after today.
Camporelli clearing kick out of the heavy traffic. Sets Lappin a task. Deep in the pocket. Unable to turn. Goes to ground in collection of the ball. And we'll have a boundary throw in deep in Carlton's forward 50.
Yes, 63 more touches. And they're labouring and working very hard for their goals, the Blues. Remember, they kicked 2 inside the first 2 minutes of this match. They've had one since.
McKernan, Kurtafidis, Beaumont on the right boot. Can it be? No, it can't. And another minor score for the Blues.
Well, what Lou used to say, when you're hot, and when you're not,
you're not. And the Blues cannot nail a goal at the moment. 26:54, 14 minutes played. Just the 9 minutes left of the quarter. Adelaide have been pretty good in defence in this quarter.
That was a great kick off the left foot.
Massey has control of it. Carlton Social Club flank. Goes backwards with the ball to Bickley. The former skipper. Wide to Smart. Marks just inside, one would think. Carlton supporters say no. But the boundary umpire, I think, was a long, long way away.
Well, the goal umpire and the boundary umpire were probably equidistant from where it was, and it was 45 metres either side.
Fortunate for the Crows, McGregor.
Who's been very good this season. Another one of these players who hasn't quite got the profile of some of the bigger names in the Adelaide Crows side, but just as effective. Jared, you'd say?
I think you're right, Ed. He's just a bloke that's never had a big reputation here in Melbourne, but he's just slowly built a career at either centre-half back or at times as a key forward.
22 years of age, 195 centimetres and 90 kilograms. He's a big boy.
He's still just coming into really that period in his career where you expect to play his best footy.
Probably the Blues' best 10 minutes since the start of this game without having put it on the scoreboard. Look, if they can get one or two here, just coming into three-quarter time, then the door's still open. They've sort of closed Adelaide down over the last 10 minutes, so this next 10 minutes, crucial.
Bit of a push in the back there from Allen. Umpire didn't pay it. They're not playing much in the back today. Curter wraps up the tackle, over bounce. 25 metres out from the Carlton goal. The Blues brain thrust there with Tony Elshaw sitting alongside Dennis Pagan. They were line out of bounds again.
Saw a game yesterday, Ed, at St Kilda and Melbourne. There was 14 or 15 free kicks paid in the last quarter, and we had one central ball up. There's been 7 free kicks apiece here today, and in these conditions, we're getting ball up after boundary throw in, heaps of stoppages. And I reckon you'd just halve them if you gave the first free kick that was there. Keep the game open, keep it flowing.
Massey and Rashido, ball over the line and out of bounds.
And there is the Adelaide bench. Ronnie Burns, Tyson Edwards, Gallagher there as well, and Perry. And 73 ball ups or boundary throw-ins today. Quite an unbelievable statistic. 73 times the ball has been in the umpire's hands. Clark, Prosciutto, McLeod, one of the rare fumbles from McLeod, allows Camporelli to kick the ball long. Not a lot of support there for the Blues. Smart, a wonderful trap using leg and hand. The no-look handball was not effective. Hume dumped it off in hope. But once again, Adelaide get numbers back deep in defence, and they'll take it out uncontested. Massey at half-back. They've got to find something up forward, the Blues. And quickly, Laddams, quick to react after missing the initial mark. Carey, the beautiful little side tap out to John Cock. John Cock can kick goal number 4. Wayne Carey, you are a marvel. John Cock, a great finish.
The energy market's getting tough. Things are changing. We need an edge.
Well, let's look at the options.
When it comes to business thinking, chartered accountants have the superior training and business experience to guide your business in the right direction.
When would you like to start?
Let's start right now.
The Carey-John Cock combination coming up with 2 goals in this quarter. Adelaide have now kicked the last 6 of the game and the last 9 out of 10 goals scored. And as we, without labouring the point, the Blues haven't kicked a major since the 18.5-minute mark of the first term. We're now at the 19.5 of the third. Wait. And it's been a long one for Carlton. Allen, high up and under. Flying with the ball with courage there was Camporelli, got crunched. Diving in on top of it there for the Crows now is Shirley. Stenglein in there, off the ground went Burton. Massey's been excellent today, until then. McKay, thumps it long. Murphy. Under pressure again, the kick comes forward. Crows defence just happy to get it out. Hume took the mark, chipped to the pocket. And Favola has it. Plays on straight away, kicks it back to Lance Whitnell. It was a big kick though. He could have actually dropped it a bit shorter and let Lance run into it so he could take the mark, but Lance is going to have to kick at 55.
Might stretch Lance on this occasion. They're going back to a bit more of a conventional structure of the Blues forward line.
He's only kicked 7 goals this year, Big Lance. And now he's kicked 8. Beautiful kick and goal for Lance Whitnell and Carlton.
Catch all the footy action on the big screen at Sky City Adelaide.
Lance Whitnell has goaled with 5 minutes remaining in the quarter and gives the Blues just some hope. They're within 28 points. McLeod out of the middle. Kick up to the forward line. Free kick paid here to go Carlton's way against John Cock, who, by the way, with his 4 goals today, his biggest haul of his career.
Murphy, Favola, Koutafidis and Whitnell now in the forward half. That's a far more dangerous looking forward line.
Revitalised in just a couple of seconds, the Blues. Can they hold on to that for the remaining few minutes of this third quarter and gain something out of it in the way of score?
You throw Lappin down there as well, a proven goal kicker for these last 5 minutes.
So you just go for everything now, Gary.
Go for everything. I mean, you don't die wondering, Brian.
Okay. Temptation, though, Gary, from the point of view defensively for a coach would be that you could also get busted open doing that and give yourself no hope in the last quarter.
Scored 1 goal since after 2 minutes of the first quarter, Brian. They're going to try something.
Spoken like a potential coach, perhaps even one that is on the dotted line, out wide. Fletcher, sorry about that, Gary. Whitnell, Allen, the standing start. Favola, can he do it? No. Off hands, McCormack with a little kick out sideways. Help Murphy. Gee, went in with the fingers and not the body, didn't he? Kick out wide now. Allen the chance. So all of a sudden, Carlton are getting numbers around the ball and winning the contest. Kick short, finds Murphy on the slide. And he can roost the ball, and it doesn't seem particularly wet at the moment. Goes the spiral. Off the side of the boot. Koutafidis, some chance. Wait. Beautiful track. McCormick almost going backwards as he tried to kick the ball forward. Hume tries to run it down, picked up by Lappin. Thought he still had Hume on all 2 feet and missed.
Now the Lappin will come straight back in. Waite is all on his own at centre-half forward, but missed him. Murphy might see him. Now he decides to go. He looked up and kicked it straight down someone else's throat. Looked up and saw Waite with his arm stretched at centre-half forward. Couldn't have missed him. And just thumped it long and hard. Just said thank you on the breadbasket. Jerry, you saw that?
I do. I just wonder whether he's not under instructions to get the ball into the goal square as soon as possible.
Because he is, Jared, he's got to give it some air and give him a chance.
Off hands over the line and out of bounds.
Kicking the ball too flat, Gary.
To be fair, I think he miskicked it as a shank. But McKernan on the bench hasn't had much game time. Conditions don't really suit him. May still have a role to play.
Boundary throw in, half forward. 60-32 in favour of Adelaide. Carlton have controlled the last 5 minutes. Slippery, Koutafidis. Handball, here comes John Cock. Got 4 today. Been really good. Striving for the win. He does it at ground level, John Cock. Around the body. Ronnie Burns, Carey's there as well. He slips over. Out of the contest, regains his feet. Almost possession. Koutafidis, cool. Fletcher, just get it forward. You can hear Dennis Pagan shouting the instructions. Whitnell bundled off the ball. McLeod tried to sweep it forward. Shirley spun out of the pack as Waite ties the tackle with the help of Camperelli.
Young Brad Fisher's now at full forward, so they've got Fisher, Favola, Lappin in the forward 50.
Dennis Pagan there along with Tony Elshaw. Adrian Gallagher in the front row on his left. Ball knocked wide. Carlton down by 28 points. Burton, did he put it over deliberately? Umpire said no. Burton laughs.
.32 plays 60, 2 minutes left on the clock. Fletcher, Camperelli's been good today. He squeezes the kick out up towards the half-forward flank. McGregor and Whitnell. Whitnell tries to flick it back inside. No one running onto it, though, as Edwards picks up for the Adelaide Crows. He goes to the half-forward flank position. From behind McKay Flew, no one slowed down, except for this man, John Cock. He wants goal number 5. He runs in and misses. Puts it out of bounds on the full.
Basic piece of roving. He was the only one who elected to stay at the back of the pack. His man went forward, and that was an opportunity that should have resulted in a goal. There's his man, McKay again, committed to the spoil.
A couple of times he's gone and left his opponent on the ground, and 4 goals to his name, on as I said, on a low-scoring day is a pretty good return.
Mighty Mick gets the kick in, but Clark puts it straight back. Mick with a big punch. No, he couldn't get over there. It's been a mark. Ronnie Burns, somewhere amongst it all. It just fell into Burns' arms.
Yes, there's a bit happening off the ball as that footy came in. Once again, I think you'll find that Carey here is getting grabbed here by Beaumont. And Mickey Martin, what was he doing there, Jared? Is he a chance to get there and get a fist to it?
Carey having a break, by the way, boys.
And I think it's a good move. If he was going to do a soft tissue injury, he'd be right now.
Burns' second kick for the day is a goal for the Adelaide Crows.
If you think this has a big sale, have a look at Radio Rental's biggest ever stock take sale. Over $5 million worth of quality electricals must be cleared, including a huge range of Philips TVs at never-to-be-repeated deals. Cash rent or interest-free, it's your choice at Radio Rentals. And with selected TVs, you'll get a bonus gift voucher worth up to $1,000. Radio Rentals must clear over $5 million worth of quality electricals at our biggest ever stock take sale. Now that's big!
So Adelaide have got their 4th goal of the quarter, Carlton just the 1. And with just under a minute remaining, Jared.
Camperelli head-to-head, toe-to-toe with McLeod. 2 of the Jets up against each other.
A minute in the 3rd quarter. And there is McLeod, in and under. Wayne Carey off the ground. Would he be rested for the rest of the game, or just a rest of some moments?
I'd be taking him off. There's nothing to be gained now by bringing him back onto the ground. He's done enough. He's been impressive. You give him a rest, and all of a sudden he tightens up.
Surely the more football, the better, though. Jared?
Over a period.
Right. Ball, defensive half for the Blues. Clark. Gallagher, Beaumont closing. Elected to try and soccer rather than possession. Good decision in the end. Camperelli couldn't quite get there. Waite can feed it out to that man. Unable to do so. Edwards spent a lot of this quarter on the bench, has come back on and got it to Laddams. Bit of open ground here for the Crows. Look at the Chisholm pass. Finds the root. That skipper, Rashudo, on the lead. And he will kick after the siren here. And he'll have to hoik it all of 52, 53 metres.
Laddams has had an impressive day, Brian.
Indeed he has. Kicked the goal in the 1st quarter. And Laddams has had plenty of it since.
One player on the ground who would be capable, it would be Mark Rashudo from here. It's been pretty dry. I don't think it rained at all this quarter, so that ball shouldn't be heavy at all.
To make it a game-high 40-point margin at 3-quarter time, Rashudo has to be successful. 3 Carlton players stand the mark there, as you can see. And Rashudo, not a lot of wind here. It's just all about rain and the uneasiness underfoot, I guess. As Rashudo comes in, we'll have to give it everything. Right on 50, kick on the way. That is beautiful. 40-point, 3-quarter time lead to the Crows, and they're excited.
Final nail in the coffin, no doubt about that, and the Adelaide boys are enjoying it. 40 points in these conditions against a side who's just kicked 4 for the afternoon. Well, it would be one of the comebacks of the season. At 3-quarter time, Adelaide 11-6, 72, the Blues 4-8.
tackling the road toll, highway speed limits to be scaled back. Australia denied automatic qualification for soccer's World Cup, and Mark Philippoussis sets up a showdown with Andre Agassi.
On A Current Affair, big names, big claims, Hollywood's hottest nights.
I don't want to be the one that loses the least.
Australian women take up the challenge.
60 kilos. Wow.
When Nissan presents A Current Affair with Ray Martin.
All I own are the clothes I stand up in. And some sexy aftershave. But I rent all this. Renting makes sense.
Catch all the footy action on the big screen at Sky City Adelaide.
The Swimming Pool and Spa Association Expo is on next weekend. If you're serious about a pool or spa, then you'd better get to Wayville. The Swimming Pool and Spa Association Expo will cover everything, including all the latest pool and spa equipment. Next weekend, Wayville Showgrounds, pensioners and kids free.
Do you own a car? Hope you get a service regularly.
Because if you don't... Anyway, don't worry. ProFix this week can service and tune your car. Don't pay $150, only $109.
Book your $109 service and tune at ProFix this week.
At Italian Trends, we received an extra container of imported Italian leather shoes. Save up to 70% off normal prices. Unlisted, Aldo, Bill Blass. Stocks are limited. Italian Trends. We may import the shoes, but we won't import the price. Adelaide, Norwood and Elizabeth.
Ray's Outdoors. Come see what we've got. From tents to clothes and boots, we've got the lot. The lot right now. Ray's Outdoors have arrived in Adelaide with a huge warehouse sale at 52 Light Square. Massive savings on tents, outdoor clothing, footwear and camping gear. You'll save heaps with Ray's Outdoors. Anything for outdoors, fashion or pleasure, it's your one-stop shop with gear for your leisure. Tents, clothes, barbecues, we've got the lot. Ray's Outdoors. Come see what we've got.
Fantastic. Shall we call him now? Sophie, I've got the winner of the competition. There's his number. Oh, he's cute.
Oh, it's engaged.
Don't miss important calls when you're on the internet. Be online and use your phone at the same time. For frustration-free internet, join iPrimus Broadband.
I rent because there's no deposit, no application fee, they fix any problems, and you can upgrade to the latest and greatest, so you're never stuck with yesterday's gear. Renting makes sense.
Tonight,
boot camp.
in the race to out-renovate,
I've got no wall.
Kidding me?
some couples will go to any lengths to win this game.
Trying to impress. Standing like a man.
The Block, 6:30 tonight on 9.
This AFL coverage proudly brought to you by the new Holden Caprice, Sky City Adelaide and Radio Rentals.
He's got Adelaide assistant Peter Curran.
Thanks, Gary. And you took, Peter, you took Wayne Carey off. Was that for a spell?
Yeah, just to give him a bit of a break. It's pretty torrid conditions out there, and just to freshen him up a bit for the last quarter.
You had a long discussion with Gary Ayres at that huddle. He's back on now. Will he play out the game?
Well, we certainly expect him to, but at this stage, you know, we're trying to rotate because it is a pretty heavy day.
And good way to finish off that quarter is Shudo nutting that goal.
Captain's goals are pretty important.
see if you can finish it off. Thanks, mate. Thanks, Pete.
And we've finally got it, Gary. We've got the matchup.
We have Mickey Martin and Wayne Carey down in the goal square in front of the Carlton cheer squad. I think they're down that end of the ground. So if nothing else, that will keep our interest, boys, for the last quarter. 40 points is the margin. A couple of goals to Carlton might make it a little interesting. But Mickey Martin on Wayne Carey. Premiership mates, of course, from the days of the Kangaroos.
Gary, the Blues have got 166 possessions in this game. Their lowest this year has been 222. And the lowest last year, 247, so it could be their worst day out as far as possessions for a long, long time.
Adelaide starting the final quarter in advance of Carlton by 40 points. And Carey...
That was the banner beforehand. The Crows may have Wayne Carey, but watch out, Duck. Mick Martin is very scary.
Was Wayne spelt right then? Sure. Might have a look at that as the ball goes forward for the Blues. And Whitnell has got it. The free kick going his way. And the attention will be the other end of this quarter as well, with Wayne Carey finally getting the opportunity to play on Mick Martin.
Do you think Wayne's scared
of Mick?
Yeah.
Well, after what I read in the paper with Glenn Archer said, Glenn Archer doesn't want to have a whack at Wayne Carey. I don't think there are too many in the competition with
one of the best in the ring of all time, I reckon.
Whitnell, 49 metres out, kick on the way. He'd want to be good. There's been some good ones around Ed. He's pretty good. Edwards. Hart. The kick out towards the scoreboard side of the ground. To the Feedies. Straight into the microphone there. That Adelaide player. And Anthony Kurtafidis there. In the final quarter of football, Adelaide by 40 points. And there is the microphone that has been...
upended.
Yeah.
We'll hear any planes flying up.
Looking like a dangerous object there at the moment, isn't it?
Here's Hart. Grabbed, thrown to the ground. It was a beautiful tackle, picked up by Fletcher, around the body, a high up and under. Too much distance. Good luck marking that, but there he does. Good play, big Blance. Best man at his brother's wedding during the week. Lance's kick over the top to Lappin. Keeps his feet, kicks it inside 50. Here's a chance now.
Good grab. Good sticky fingers, Brad Fisher.
They like him down at Carlton with good reason. He can go to the full forward line, presents himself really well, and much better, I think, to see a forward leading out of the goal square. On this occasion, it's Fisher against Nigel Smart. Gives him some experience playing out of the square.
Yeah, first-year player. In his 8th game, has kicked 10 goals. Was taken at pick number 72 in the draft from East Burwood. Played in last year's Eastern Rangers under-18 premiership side, so he knows a bit about it. Been nominated for the National Bank Rising Star, and he splits the middle and gives the Blues something to cheer about. His first.
Some people see me as debonair, a bon vivant, a sophisticated man about town, but there's another player who fits that category. Crazy John. Like me, he's been around a while and has plenty of experience where mobile phones are concerned. You get the best deal with Crazy John's. He's Australia's best mobile phone retailer. I'm with Crazy. So if you need a mobile, remember, Crazy John's for mobile phones. Call 13 22 99.
Crazy Johns, we love you, mate.
Carlton kicked just their second goal of this second half. In the middle of the ground, Allen. It is about to rain very heavily. We get the feeling here at Optus Oval. It's dark and it's dingy.
Get the arc ready.
Could well be the end of the world.
It could indeed. It's heading this way. It's coming straight over the top of the Carlton Social Club stand, and I reckon it'll be here in about 4 minutes.
If there's not, you can see it from here.
That ball was meant for Wayne Carey and Mick Martin, and it just drifted off out of bounds on the full. The breeze may have picked up a little.
Yeah, it's now a zephyr.
Mick hoists it in. McKay. Franchino the clean-up. Murphy on the run, able to get one forward to half forward. Lance was in front, but the bounce beat him. There's the other redhead. Hickmont hasn't had the greatest of days. Lance around on the left. Fisher couldn't get a run at that time. Bassett. Jared Healy in the last line of defence.
You've just got to find targets on the way out as he did there, and he's a far better player.
In the meantime, have a look at this. Finding targets, the Crows. Perry takes a strong mark at half forward. Shirley's on it centre half forward. Fourth touch for Perry. Decides to kick along. It goes over the head of Carey.
See, it's a good kick, Eddie.
It's a beautiful left-foot kick.
I mean, everyone would have had eyes on Wayne Carey then. and they might have thought that he missed the target. He was going for Chris Laddams.
Yeah.
Don't worry about that.
And Laddams has had a good day. He's had 10 disposals. Well, this is his 11th coming up. Kicked a big goal in the first quarter to get them going. And Laddams from tight on the boundary line, the left footer, tries to bend it right to left and has done so, but not through the goals. It's a point.
And I reckon Wayne Carey, look, he's kicked hundreds of goals in his career, but if there was one he would like to kick, just for memory's sake, it'd be one in this quarter on his old mate.
Yeah, we know Mick likes to play on his direct opponent. Look at the kick in there as Perry marks.
Mick will be telling me he held him goalless in the last quarter too.
Absolutely. That will be a real contest within the contest there as Perry just lobs it in front. Here they come. Carey underneath the pack. Good example of what you spoke about earlier in the game, how he's unable to get above the pack these days. Burns, off hands, around the corner. Fletcher was able to cut her off to the Blues and work it out Social Club side. Lance arrives late. Stenglein, McGregor and Perry all combining. From 60 metres out to the hot spot. The fly, nothing on. Fletcher, straight down the throat of Rashudo. Now he kicked one after the siren at three-quarter time from this exact distance. And he's probably got the protection of the stand here as well. So you would think if he's able to get the full body behind the ball, he will go the journey. Mark Rashudo, just the one goal. That one after the three-quarter time siren. And a chance for his second goal of the day. 7 kicks, 11 possessions in all for Mark Rashudo. He's unsure about the drop punt or the torpedo, or is he just...
That's how he holds it.
That's how he holds it. Okay, Rashudo on the way. Distance, not a problem. Accuracy is just the minor score there for Mark Rashudo. 11.874, Adelaide to Carlton, 5.838.
He's a belting kick, Mark Rashudo.
It is an unusual style, though, the way he holds it flat and then just tilts it at the end. But he's a great kick.
Camperelli from full back winds up and goes for the torpedo. Gets the distance, but didn't really get onto it.
Effective, though.
Yep, McCormick. Fletcher just thumps it on the boot. It's going to come straight back. It's all pros out here. Burton takes the mark. Has John Cock wide, and they're wide open now. Rashudo further up the field. Stingline also there. He decides to go over the top, looking for and finding Laddams. This time on the right side for a left footer, as Lou used to say. Tough equation, though, for him. He's right on the boundary line, as you can see, just on the 50-metre. No lead, so he's going to have a shot. From about 48, he comes in. It's a thumping kick. It's a beautiful kick.
It's a goal.
He's put it through. It's a magnificent kick. Laddams gets his second.
The new Commodore. It's like corners were made for it.
42-point advantage for Adelaide after the Laddams goal. His second. In the middle, Biglands. Rashudo over the top of it there. Eccles.
Gary, if Wayne Carey stays fit and continues to improve, and everybody else in Adelaide stays fit, how do you see them come September?
Oh, look, I think they're a genuine chance, Jared. They have been there. They've got enough good players. They've got enough class that can lift them up. And he might be the wild card.
Mark Stevens has got to get right and get back into the team.
Stevens is a very important player. I think Burton's been so important. Ronnie Burns gives them another little dimension down there. So if they can get their players up and their list nice and healthy.
Don't forget Simon Goodwin also to come back into this team.
Yeah, Adelaide have won 4 of their last 5 if you count today, and they've got Richmond and Essendon both at Football Park in the next 2 weeks. So looking pretty good at Adelaide to set themselves up beautifully for the September action. Wait. The don't argue on Smart will never work. Hart goes in. We'll have another ball up. Players very tired, as you heard Michael Roberts say. At three-quarter time, conditions have been pretty heavy out there for the players who are not used to running in these conditions with the likes of Telstra Dome around these days, fully protected stadiums.
Low scores in danger, Brian.
Wait, indeed. Burton marks off the half-back line. Now, the Crows need some fluency going forward, some clear ball if we're going to see Carey and Mick Martin fighting for the ball in the air. Tyson Edwards taking plenty of time. Just all of the urgency and intensity gone out of this game momentarily. Over the top, Laddams, McLeod, look at the pickup, the handball.
That's an example of what I was saying. I reckon about 5% of AFL players could do what he did there. Just have a look at this. Still running almost flat out, picks it up, doesn't lose his feet.
And still going forward where you're saying that someone else would have to turn sideways.
Most have to get to the side, and then you end up putting side steps in and you lose your pace.
Yep. Great point. Something in that, Jared. You should take a closer look at it.
Well, we just saw an example of Nigel Smart run right over the top of it for that very reason, I reckon, Jared. Not sure we'd ever get a replay of that because it was no highlight, but older player, no flexibility.
That's got to be a free kick to Matthew Allen, and it is.
So big Matty Allen gets onto a torpedo up towards the wing position. Plenty of Crows there. Front and square is hard. He picks it up and goes long, looking for Carey, who comes out on the burst. Hume stood his ground, then tackled by Burns. It comes out to John Cock. He was looking for goal number 5, and he had a man in the square there, Clark, he could have kicked to, but he missed.
This stage of the game, Gary, is that every man for himself up there on the forward line.
He's looking a bit like it, Jared, but...
Well, John Cock won't die wondering. He's 4 goals, 1 and kicked 2 out in the full.
There's a chance to repay the man that had given him a couple, I thought, then, Wayne Carey inside, but we've got to get something to spark us, boys. This is just playing itself out.
As if on cue, as Dennis Committee would say.
Oh,
all right. So there's the attempt by Burton, and he normally does that once a week.
He actually factors into his tax return the fact that he'll win a car every year. And that was his first attempt. I'll tell you what, that handball would have come at the Kangaroos, Gary. He's still got some stripes to him, obviously, at the Crows,
yes,
Wayne Carey.
Yeah, drawing the footy, it's called.
Even the head, that ball. Camporelli around the body. Got up to centre wing. McGregor.
That's a deliberate, Jared.
Yeah, that was deliberate.
Deliberate. Stop. Come on. Being a bit carried away with the rules these days.
Oh, it's a throw too, Brian.
Couldn't stop. It's a wet, slippery ball.
You've got to do your best to keep it in.
You just said before there's only one person that can do it, and that's McLeod.
He's having to throw it over the boundary.
Oh, Eccles in there. Wish I had the time to keep going with this, but we must get on with the game.
Brian thought Ivan Milat had a case.
Look at this for a ball. Shudo. Burns long with McKay. No winner. Just the minor score there. Just under 11 minutes remaining in the game.
Ronnie gets through this game. Probably the most important thing now is Adelaide are able to keep their playing list intact. They don't want to lose a Ronnie Burns or a Carey or any of their, or anyone really, but these guys coming back from injury.
Now, is fitness more important here for the likes of Carey, or preservation more important?
Preservation for mine. He's getting no fitness, holding onto a spot in the goal square.
So Camporelli brings the ball out. 19,242 here today, and he's got 33,000 members, so it's a disappointing crowd. Here's a chance now for Mickey Martin. He goes up. John Cock, he wants that number 5, and he's got it. It's a goal to Graham John Cock.
Fantastic. We're rolling now. Sophie, I've got the winner of the competition. There's his number. Oh, he's cute.
Oh, it's engaged.
Don't miss important calls when you're on the internet. Be online and use your phone at the same time. For frustration-free internet, join iPrimus Broadband.
50 points, the margin with the John Cock goal number 5. McLeod. Edwards over the top to the run of Burton, who is knocked up getting it today. Hart will drive it in the Carey direction. Sold the dummy, went close. It is whoever wants to kick a goal can line up now. That is the Adelaide rule. Walsh But McKay steady in the back pocket. Got a bit of space here, the Blues. Camporelli needs a good sitting ball. He's got it. Got a loose player inside. Ignored that. Went wide. Out there towards Bickley. Around the corner and a high ball, Rashudo. McKernan and Kutafides there. The ladder, able to pick it up, kick it forward. Mark being taken. Fisher, long ball, no one home. Lance makes Bassett earn it. Carey off the ground.
Disappointing finish from Fisher. His vision just didn't extend itself wide enough. He just looked forward. He had looked off to the right. Lance Whitmore was on his own, some 20 metres away, and kicked straight to Lance Whitmore's man. And I think that'll be the afternoon for Wayne Carey.
Gary, is that because of the propensity to go for the Pagans paddock? It's just chatterise and kick it long, and the Crows have been able to get players back to nullify it?
Yeah, look, I reckon there's also got to be scope within any team to look wide and have some flexibility, and that was just a poor choice, I thought.
Well, he's got Velcro in his hands, like McLeod. Did you see that? He just pushed along in front of him. He just it's like a vacuum cleaner on the end of his hands. Beautiful kick straight down the throat of Massey, who's had a very good return to Optus Oval today, the one-time Carlton player. 13 touches, but he's been very good. Kicking's been excellent today. He's kicked one behind, and this would just about wrap it up for him.
He looks like
he's 2 inside 50s.
Looks like he's got himself really fit. If you just have a look at the shape of his legs at the moment, they are finely tuned. And he's running well. Gary, you said he looked like he'd just grabbed a bit of extra speed. He's built his upper body strength up considerably there.
Was originally a first-round pick.
Number 8, for memory.
And Rising Star nominee in 98, traded to Carlton in the 2001 draft. He would have kicked at training 1,000 times at these goals. He should have kicked 1,001.
They're very taken with him, Gerard.
Yeah, what
his shape of his legs there.
What is finely tuned about them, Gerard?
I just reckon that you see them. They are look like runners' legs.
Yes, they are. He's looking good.
Well, they actually do an awful lot of cycling over there. Charlie Walsh has been their fitness advisor over there, so he may well have been on the bike.
Neil Brooks is their swimming coach.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, all right.
So they've prepared them so if they don't win the flag, they will win the triathlon.
He certainly strengthens. Here's Hume. Beautiful play. Nice vision and nice skill on that occasion. Knocks up trying, doesn't he? He's fantastic. McKernan gets the Bronx cheers. Bit hard. He's been on the bench most of the day. To wait at centre-half forward. Took off, then found a bit of space. He went to kick to Whitmore, but Whitmore had fallen over. Been that sort of day. Favola goes to ground. John Cock heads to the boundary line. Now he picks it up. He's got plenty of space to give it up to McGregor, who's had a good day as well. Up to Perry. Oh! He's decided to come off the ground. We'll have a throw in. And look at this.
It's a timely exit, isn't it?
I said, oh, that was embarrassing. I'll go.
Don't think that gate was locked when it should have been. The push on it, open, so he said, well, I'll keep going. Rashudo. Knocked to the boundary line. We'll have a boundary throw-in. So 7 minutes remaining in the game now. And Adelaide are going to go on and record their second victory in a row, 4 of their last 5, and they've got Richmond next week.
222. Round 1, their lowest disposals for the season. You think they might have that 201 at the moment. We think they've got that covered, the Yellow Blues.
Yep, they have. And confirmation through. McCormick. Another ball up here. So this game petering out at the moment. And
it's nice and dark out there.
Real Melbourne conditions in the winter, isn't it? Yeah. So look at the...
Pretty dark
nice
in there.
Dark in there.
Box, lights off.
Just can't help but be impressed when you consider they've got Goodwin and Stevens. I'm not sure if Mark Stevens is one of best and fairest. He's certainly been right up there. I think he was equal best and fairest on one occasion, but Goodwin certainly has. Two top 5 players to come back into this group.
Yeah, and well, they've got a beautiful mix too, all over the ground. The players who can find the footy. There's some nullifiers. Brett Burton's form today continues on from where he left off a couple of weeks ago. McLeod was spoken about. Hart's just rock solid. Shirley, a young bloke. So they're introducing new talent still, and they are shaping up nicely. Mind you, I think the opposition today has been pretty disappointing.
Yep. Edwards out of the pack, over the line, out of bounds once again. Carlton social club flank. We'll have another boundary throw in.
Jared, just on that, second in the best and fairest, Mark Stevenson 2001, third in the best and fairest, equal third in 2002. So right in amongst it, of course, a premiership player in 98.
What about the Blues boys? They've got Melbourne next week, West Coast at Subi after that. As Clark gathers the ball, drills it inside 50, long ball, setting themselves. Welsh punch through for the minor score. Where do you see Carlton place at the moment, Jared and Gary?
Well, they're at the foot of the table, and they're a side with a lot of young kids in it, so their output's going to fluctuate, but they'd be bitterly disappointed. I think there's a view here that perhaps they turned the corner somewhat against the Tigers.
Well, Jared, they've had 3 wins. Unless they get a priority pick, they don't get in the draft. 4 wins we've had, I'm sorry.
Yeah, and that's exactly right. That might be the worst thing that happens for them.
If they were to win 2 more games, it would break their heart, Will.
That's not being facetious. They've just struggled. They've just struggled, Carlton, today, and they've had no real positives. Camporelli probably the only winner on the ground.
I mean, look, Dave, obviously they're going out to play to win all the time. We're not even contemplating anything other than that. But if they get a first-round pick, you can trade, you can do something with it, get a good young kid. So that'll be a very important priority pick if they don't win another 2 more matches. In the meantime, Thornton kicks it out, and it's going to come straight back in. Graham Johncock is having a day out at Optus Oval. 18th touch, 5 goals over the top. And Burton stood there for about 10 minutes. And Burton will go back and have a shot.
2 best players on the ground, Burton and Johncock.
31st touch coming up for Brett Burton.
And he's a hard matchup, isn't he? I mean, if you get him down in that forward line, at least you can double team him with some midfielders that push back and close up some space. But when he sits out on that wing, you just have to be one-on-one. He's hard to match up on.
31 today, 29 last week. Not a bad effort. He's just missed on the kick, through for a point.
I reckon another player that often in these one-sided games gets overlooked is Ben Hart, as we see the Blue supporters heading out. He reminds me so much of Bruce Dool. Rarely makes a mistake, just keeps on performing week in, week out. He's done it for a decade or more.
Camporelli bangs it in from full-back. Eccles, the former Crow, advances the ball forward without any real great direction. Burton still going hard for the ball late in this game. Reminiscent of Nathan Buckley last night when the game was well and truly gone, still working to the last minute of the game. Murphy.
Goal square open.
Point of the square. Paddock set up. Fisher unable to capitalise. They have had that Paddock. Oh, Smart's missed it. Fisher. There's one for you, young man. Got his second off the quarter.
If you think this has a big sale, have a look at Radio Rental's biggest ever stock take sale. Over $5 million worth of quality electricals must be cleared, including a huge range of LG TVs at never-to-be-repeated deals. Cash rent or interest-free, it's your choice at Radio Rentals. And with selected TVs, you'll get a bonus gift voucher worth up to $1,000. Radio Rentals must clear over $5 million worth of quality electricals at our biggest ever stock take sale. Now that's big!
So Nigel Smart will be paying the fines at training this week when the boys get the video replays out. They had 1 clanger in the first quarter and 1 to end the game, but in between he's been pretty sensational today, as have the rest of the Adelaide pros.
Indeed, Hume, Koutafidis kick out wide to the contest between McGregor and McKernan. Laddams has had a bit of it today. And we'll have another ball up. The ball ups and the throw-ins have been the order of the day here at Optus in greasy conditions. Haven't had a lot of rain in the second half, but nevertheless there was enough deposited to make it difficult.
And speaking of rain, I think it's been such a foul day for the Blue supporters that they are going to get rained upon when they walk to their cars.
Yeah.
It is ready to go.
Waiting for that tram ride up Sydney Road. There'll be no fun tonight.
Few looking to avoid it with the early exit. Fletcher.
There we are, boys.
Whitnall. Bickley. Was that Gary?
Stay where you are, son.
Laddams. And Massey handball over the top. Runs it out, nearing the boundary line. Beautiful presentation by Perry. There's a bit of a look at what's on the ground in the way of water.
Good leap, this kid.
He's another one, Jared, that come September.
Yep.
I mean, he has to attract a really good defender, and it's going to be hard for sides to come up with 3 or 4 really good defenders. You've got Perry, Carey, Stevens, and one or two others. And it's a difficult matchups.
A big win for them today, boys. This will take Adelaide into 4th position. They've got a fantastic percentage.
Well, that is the other important issue, isn't it?
They'll go to the top 4, and the percentage will be boosted significantly today. It's a very big percentage boost here. 91 plays 44. And that'll set them up. Today's been an 8-point game for them as far as percentage and the 4 points is concerned. And as you said a bit earlier, they've got a pretty good run home. Burton around the corner. Laddams.
It's getting dark. Can't see it on the TV.
Gallagher.
But it is black.
It is. Rasciuto has the ball at half-forward flank. Brings it into Shirley, who's had a good day today. Shirley kicks it inside 50. Welsh wants to get amongst it. He's got to push in the back for a mick. No, says the umpire. Out comes McKay. Here's Burton, who's suffering from leather poisoning today. He's had it that often. High up and under. Try and mark that one. Up goes John Cock. He made a pretty good attempt at it. Mick just doesn't want it. And over the line it goes.
Mickey Martin, as we have a look at this match fact, lowest score ever, 1991.
And it's 6 goals, 8 at the moment. So it looks like another
inglorious
result today for the Blue Baggers, who started off so well, kicked the first 2 goals of the game. We looked like we're in for something, and that was about it. Gallagher over the top, sets up Bickley. Bickley looks forward and decides to kick it long, looking for guess who? John Cock again. Well played by Hume, beautiful play, stays in play for Hume now. He gets another kick, the kick was smothered though. Surely a free kick, was it? Umpires call play on. And a point is given to the Adelaide Crows as John Cock kicks his second behind of the quarter.
A score of 6-8-44 for Carlton is currently the second lowest score by any side this season. The previous lowest was 5-12-42 by Essendon when they played Richmond.
Just having a look at the frees for and against. It's been, from my reckoning, 4 free kicks in the second half of the match.
Well, the Blues only need 1 more possession to go past their lowest, and there it is. So they've beaten that record anyway.
Well done. They've nailed a few records today. Here's the paddock. Hasn't broken too many of them. The paddock's on, and Whitnell Lamar, and give to Lappin, and Lappin can run the space. He decides to walk and kick his first goal of the game in the last 30 seconds. Blues have got 3 in the last.
Well, this is effectively how Dennis Pagan wants it to work. Ball hasn't come in quickly enough too often, I think, to test it out. And we've spoken to our players who perhaps have got a lack of pace up in that forward line to make it work, but I think the key issue has been that it just hasn't travelled in there often enough or quick enough.
So inside the last 30 seconds of play, it's been a big day for the Adelaide Crows. They lead by 42 points. Burton, another touch. Gallagher, up to centre half forward. Time for one last go for the Adelaide Crows. Tawney gets it out. Perry's there. And that'll just about do it here as the umpire calls for a bounce. Doesn't call for time on. And there's the siren to end the game here at Optus Oval.
42 points is the margin. I think for the statistically minded, it might be the third 42-point margin for the weekend. And a 43-point margin as well thrown in. So it was a comprehensive victory. No doubt about the Adelaide Crows. The fireworks between Mick Martin and Wayne Carey didn't eventuate. They didn't need to. It was a very comfortable victory, and he got through and was in pretty good form as well. Adelaide 13-14-92. Carlton 7-8-50. And Mickey Martin got through it all right as well.
And they won every quarter, the Adelaide Crows, in front of 19,242. They led by 4 points at quarter time, 18 at half, 40 points at three-quarter time, and 42 at the end of the match.
34 possessions to Brett Burton. I reckon he was best on the ground along with Graham Johncock, two younger players that have just emphasised the depth of talent. And speaking of depth, there's Wayne Carey, who Robbo's chasing his autograph from him. And here he is, Robbo.
Thanks, Jared. And Wayne, so important to come here and win, and Adelaide boys did it pretty well.
Yeah, look, that was the most important thing. Over the last couple of years, it started not so well after the break, according to the boys and Gary Ayres. So, come to Melbourne on a day like today and get a win against a good side, and a side that had a good win against Richmond last start. Very good.
Corey came over and shook your hand, and Mickey Martin as well. You actually lined up on Mickey in that last quarter. Everyone's been talking about it all week. It's strange to go down on him.
It was a little bit strange, but I mean, you'd like to think that the game was sort of over, hopefully, at that stage of the game. But to go down there and just to say that I've played on the great Mickey Martin, I'll be able to tell my kids one day.
And you came off that a spell. Any reason, any soreness?
Yeah, no. I think Gary was being just a bit cautious. So, we've got 9 games to go. I've got to get through them yet.
Well done.
No, cheers, thanks.
Good on you, Michael Roberts and Wayne Carey. 11 possessions to Wayne Carey, 3 marks, and his influence on the game was more profound than those statistics would suggest.
You love that assist stat, and I reckon he would have had 8.
Yes, I do love the assist stat, and he would be right up there. He was pretty important. He looked pretty fresh too, Jared, which is important coming back from injury. He had 4 goal assists in actual fact, which is
Plus, how many goals himself?
Just off the top of my head, I don't kick the goal.
0. He had 1 behind.
Just testing it.
But he would have had Graham Johncock not mark one in the 3rd row. So, been a big afternoon here off the Oval. Comfortable winners, Brian Taylor, 13-14, 92 Adelaide, and the Blues, 7-8, 50. We'll be back to wrap up.
Thank you, ma'am. Now it's video games
I just kissed someone.
for grown-ups.
It's a big snake.
And Peter Overton, saving the giant anaconda. 60 minutes tonight.
When did you last stop and think about your comprehensive car insurance? Does yours compare with Amy? Amy guarantees your rating 1 for life if you've held it for the last 3 years. And we reduce your premium every year up to the age of 25 if you have completed our skilled driver's course. Plus, if you're with Amy, your partner and kids can save when they join us. You can expect more from Amy. Switch now.
Lucky you're with Amy.
Catch all the footy action on the big screen at Sky City Adelaide.
Mannix, Adelaide's best prices on air conditioning.
The Fujitsu air conditioner instant cashback is now on.
Buy a Fujitsu Smart Inverter Split System. Save up to 30% on running costs and get
$250 instant cashback.
Buy from Mannix and they'll double the instant cashback to $500. Double cashback also available on all Fujitsu fully ducted systems.
See the team at Mannix Air.
A Grand Slam in the UK. A Grand Slam in France. A Grand Slam in Australia. The new fully equipped Sorrento 4-wheel drive at just $37,950. It's another Grand Slam brought to you by Kia.
Want some? Chocolate's good for you, no? Especially for your legs.
My legs?
Yeah. Apparently, if you send in 2 Dove wrappers, you get a free pair of Wicked pantyhose.
Anything to look after my legs.
Do you own a car? Hope you get it serviced regularly, because if you don't...
Anyway, don't worry. ProFix this week can service and tune your car. Don't pay $150, only $109.
Book your $109 service and tune at ProFix this week.
Fantastic. Shall we call him now? Sophie, I've got the winner of the competition. There's his number. Oh, he's cute.
engaged.
Don't miss important calls when you're on the internet. Be online and use your phone at the same time. For frustration-free internet, join iPrimus Broadband.
He knows your darkest secrets. Now he's going to make you pay.
What did you do?
For the first time on television.
They put the wrong man in jail.
Messiah, Vengeance is Mine. 8:30 tonight on 9.
And they were the mighty Adelaide Crows this afternoon here at Optus Oval. Very comfortable winners in the end, 42 points. And goals very hard to come by for the Carlton side. Kicked the first two in the first couple of minutes, and then it was a battle. They did get 3 in the last quarter. Put a modicum of respectability onto their scoreline.
Yeah, just a modicum. They smashed them, let's be honest. And John Cock was one of the major weapons with 5 goals, one of his best returns in his short career. Laddams is impressing. He continues to do well, and McLeod also. 3 multiple goal kickers. The Blues had a couple with Camporelli and young Brad Fisher in the last quarter.
Yes, and there was an early injury in the Adelaide camp, put a bit of a scare through the Adelaide people, I'm sure. Mark Rasciuto came to the boundary line, but he came back on, finished very strongly with Michael Roberts down the Adelaide rooms.
Well, Mark, firstly, the start wasn't flash for you. Copped a poke in the eye. How's that?
Yeah, well, it's not too bad. It got better at about quarter time, so, yeah, it wasn't too much of a hassle.
Now, combination of Carey and McLeod, it just sweet to watch, and so many fans want to see that.
Yeah, well, we haven't had a real good run with injuries all year, and we've got a few back after the break. We've got Mark Stevens back in SNFL, Matty Bowe there as well, so we've still got a few more to come back into the side, and if we can get everyone out there, we're going to be a pretty good side. So it's good to see Duck back in. He's been a bit unlucky with injury, but you know, out there today took a couple of good grabs in the wet conditions, and hopefully he's going to have a better second half of the year.
I want to mention 2 other players. Brett Burton's just sitting down next to us here as well, and Graham Johncock kicked 5 in those conditions. Outstanding.
Yeah, well, Brett Burton was our leading goal kicker last year, and you know, he's been unlucky with injuries as well. This is his second game back for us now, so you know, he's only going to get better as well. And Graham Johncock's only a young lad who's getting better with every game. So there are some good signs in our side, and there's a bit of pressure on for spots, which is a good position to be in, and hopefully we can keep improving.
And you love this spot, Optus Oval, don't you? You blokes?
Yeah, we do play all right here. You know, when I first started coming to Optus Oval was the toughest mission in football, and we certainly got our fair share of buildings here, but over the last few years we've seemed to have conquered it and played quite well here, so we're happy to take the win.
Go get some more drops in those eyes.
Thanks, Mike.
56 points, I think, last year. The Crows beat Carlton by, and now 42. So they do enjoy coming here. It holds no fear. And their second half, they kicked 7 goals in the second half, and they're pretty impressive in doing it. Graham Johncock, as you said, he kicked 5 and was always going to be a bit of a dangerous proposition for Andrew Mackay, who was sometimes led to the footy, which left Johncock on his own and caused a few problems.
Yeah, he did. He's very talented. Andrew Mackay's been probably Carlton's best player all season. But he just got chopped up. The ball was coming in pretty freely, and Johncock stayed at the ground, at the bottom of the ground. Mackay continually left the ground and exposed him a couple of times. He's an exciting talent, though, isn't he?
He is, and I think the penny might have dropped for him today. I think he looked at that fellow in the number 2 Guernsey, Wayne Carey, and said, well, he might not be the player that he once was, but if I hang around him long enough and don't get too far away from him, he's going to give me a few opportunities.
He'll do me. And I guess the other one who can make hay while Wayne Carey is up there is Ronnie Burns. You see there Carey just taking 2 or 3 players, as you've said a couple of times, Gary, and Burns got on the end of an easy chest mark.
Mark Rasciuto, as we mentioned, went off the ground early in the game, but came back on this, I think, one is on the 3/4 time siren. Beautiful kick of the footy, a bit of an unusual grip, as you say, but that one didn't look like missing. We're right behind it.
Very, very effective kick. He makes it spin. Laddams was another one that did pretty well. He got away, got a couple of goals early, and another left-footer. Geez, they just give you a lot more flexibility, left-footers.
And I think we said during the call that Graham Johncock was not going to die wondering. He was going to have a crack at most things as they came his way this afternoon. And this one is, well, it's a typical opportunist goal. Did well there against Mickey Martin, who probably should have done better, really, and got that ball away into some space. Let's have a look at some match statistics. And it was comprehensive when you have a look at the possession tally. They just dominated.
They did. They handballed a lot more. Carlton are under instructions to get the ball long. Dennis Pagan doesn't like overuse of the handball. Clearances evened up pretty well. But this was a game, Gary, that reflected the two positions of both sides. Carlton's a top 4 or 5 side, and Adelaide a top 4 or 5 side, and Carlton, they're heading down the bottom.
I think you're dead right. 42 points was the margin. Adelaide, impressive winners. Their position on the AFL ladder will be enhanced. We'll take a break here at Optus Oval and wrap up what has been a big day of Sunday football.
What would you do for 50 grand?